Hello friends, welcome to Universe of Naruto X. If you love Naruto what if stories and anime explanations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now let's begin today's story. The owner goes by the name of now mid-30s old lady, kind and caring unless it comes to that thing Kyuubi, which she is forced to care and look after. The Kyuubi child being kept in a separate room in the hopes to keep the other children clean and untainted happily sleeps while inside her Kyuubi continuously tries to break the seal he is trapped in. Damn you Yandy and this cursed seal. Why will this blasted seal not break? Roared the Kyuubi, his voice deep in sound and full of malice while bashing his cage and feeding chakra through the gaps in the hopes to either break the cage or control his container's mind. Though the chakra is having a different effect than what it was intended for. It has been a year since I've been trapped in this cursed cage. And yet, after all, this time nothing has changed. Over the course of a year, the Kyuubi had been feeding chakra to his container. Unknown to the Kyuubi, his container's body has yet to fully adapt to the harmful chakra and has been slowly killing and damaging the child beyond repair. A once strong heartbeat, now a weak, soft, and slow beat weakening with each beat. The already dim cage starts to darken with each pulse that courses through the child. Now what? The Kyuubi questioned the darkening room. Hearing the thumping getting softer. Don't tell me this brat is already meeting its end. The Kyuubi said wide-eyed. Kyuubi realizes that the chakra he had been feeding has been slowing killing due to the child's body not being fully adapted to the harmful properties of a demon's chakra has on a human. Damn weakling meatbag, exclaimed the Kyuubi. I can't have you dying yet. Not while I hold the same fate should you die. Looks like this is only one thing left to do that will save you. Hope you enjoy the additional perks, he said with a sigh while quickly preparing what needs to be done in order to survive. Red chakra starts to slowly erupt of the child's stomach, crawling and completely covering the small child. Few minutes later, the Sandame Hokage with 4 additional Ansatsu Sanjutsu Tokubai and Bu come rushing in after having felt his chakra. Hokage-sama, what's happening? Asked Enu while eyeing the child with caution. Not sure, but it looks like the seal is weakening and the Kyuubi is trying to escape, replied the Hokage. What show old we do, sir? Do we kill it now while we still have the CC chance? One of the Ambu ninjas stuttered in fear. I'd advise you do nothing but remove this child to a safer location where no one can be harmed. Do not fear. This kid is dying and I'm saving this kid, though it comes at a price. This kid will no longer be human. This process will turn her into a Hanyu, said the Kyuubi through the child in a deep, prideful and powerful voice. Kyuubi, why is she dying and how are you able to speak through her? Asked the Hokage in a cold, cautious voice. She is dying due to her body not adapting fast enough to my chakra. I am able to speak to you due to the weakening of the seal. The seal is weakening because she is dying, said Kyuubi to the unasked question as to why the seal is weakening. I would hasten the replacement of this kit's location, though nothing should happen. It's just a precaution as to what might happen, said the Kyuubi. Unknown location. This is a safe enough location. I want 3 guards here on duty until this settles down and Kyuubi finishes healing Naruko, the Hokage said with authority, followed by nods from the 4 Ambu ninjas. By me, what happens to you and the seal after this and how long will it go on for? Asked the Hokage with caution and curiousness. If you worried about me escaping, you need not worry as the seal is no longer weakening. As to what happens to me, I will go into a deep slumber for about 4 to 5 years as this will tire me out in its near my normal sleeping period. The kit will remain like this for about 30 hours, maybe a bit less or more. Earlier you said that this will turn Naruko into a Hanyu. Care to elaborate on this? As I am a Kitsune demon, she will change into a Kitsune Hanyu. She will gain fox ears and a tail which will increase in number as she ages and increases her power up to a maximum of 9. She will also gain highly increased sight, hearing, smell, strength, and chakra capacity. Her natural healing abilities will also be greatly increased on top of the healing she would normally receive from me. All right, I shall leave this to you then, the Hokage said in a calm tone while turning and heading for the exit. The council will have to be notified of this, though I don't see this going well. At least the ninja side will be more understanding than the civilian side. Danzo will be a pain. I bet my position that he will try to do something for his own benefit here, he thought with a sigh towards the end. 30 hours later, how much longer do we have to be here for? Asked a tired and irritated Anbu. It has been 30 hours. It should be almost time. Though our shift might not end just yet. So suck it up and do as ordered, replied Enu in a cold, emotionless voice. Ease up, Enu. No need to be harsh. Though you are correct about your shift not ending just yet, the Hokage said while entering the cave. Report, demanded the Hokage. Hi, the child has remained unchanged until about 10 hours ago when she became as she is now. Enu reported while looking over to the child who was completely encased in red chakra, unable to see through it. Where it was once completely covered, the child in a transparent hue, now completely danced through with mixes of black and red dancing around the child as if it was a flame. A blinding flash filled the room, startling everyone in the room. As quickly as it appeared, it vanished. The Hokage, reacting fast enough, was able to close his eyes, preventing from it blinding him. Though the Anbu were not as lucky as they took the full flash, completely blinding them for several moments. The Hokage slowly opens his eyes, determining if it's safe to continue. Seeing that it's safe, he fully opens his eyes and sees that the child is no longer covered in chakra. Slowing approaching the child and picking it up to hold in his arms, he sees that the child is wearing her birthday suit and eyes wide awake. The first thing he notices, her eyes are still crystal blue in color, but instead of a once circular pupil, it's now a vertical slit. It looks exactly like a fox's eye, along with her having gold blonde fur-covered fox ears on the top of her head with white tips. Her hair is now a more gold blonde compared to a yellow blonde that it used to be. She also now has a single gold blonde tail with a white tip protruding from her rear where her spine would normally end. Her nails on her feet and hands are slightly longer and more triangular in shape, making them look like claws rather than normal human nails. The Hokage honestly thought she looks very cute as she happily looks at him while playing with his beard and wrapping her tail around his arm. Come, let us return you back to the orphanage. Enu, I want you and 2 other Anbu that you trust to watch over this child for the next few years. Only one of you is needed for a rotating week shift so you can rest and still complete other missions you get assigned. Leave now and find the 2 you trust and come report to me immediately after you find them in my office. Order the Hokage. In a swirl of leaves and dust, Enu disappeared. The rest of you may take a week's break. You are dismissed, said the Hokage. With an acknowledgement, the Anbu vanished, leaving their Hokage alone to his thoughts. 4 years later, Naruko is now 5 years old. She is about 40 in tall, a few inches smaller than other kids her age due to a lack of proper nutrition. She is wearing a white plain short sleeve shirt which is several sizes too big and is covered in stains and dirt marks. To complete her outfit, she is wearing a dark orange long baggy pants with the left side reaches down to her ankles and the right side reaches up to her mid-thigh and is barefoot. Her hair is tied in a 2-pigtail style, which reaches to the middle of her shoulder blades with a red bow tie ribbon on each pigtail to hide your fox ears. Her face is a slim heart-shaped face with 3 whisker-like birthmarks on each cheek. She now has 2 tails which are wrapped around her waist underneath her shirt, just like her ears. She hides them as the villagers always comment on them when they see them or her. It's pouring down with heavy large drops with a few people here and there quickly running to get out of the rain. With her head held low, Naruko slowly walked down the road, drenched, making her way to her new apartment, which she just got from her grandfather figure, the Sandaime Hokage, while thinking over the past recent events. It's been 6 months since I've been kicked out that nightmare of a whole orphanage. At least I get to live in a place of my own, thought Naruko, opening the door to her new apartment. Though the apartment itself was fairly old, but still in good shape. Yay, this is much better than living out in Forester streets, she said happily with a sigh. Plopping onto her bed face down and hugging the pillow, her thoughts wander as to why she is so hated, ignored, and different from the rest of villagers. Why does everyone hate me or completely ignore me like I don't exist? All I wanted was to buy that fox mask. He didn't have to go and shove me like that, then throw the thing at me, she thought sadly. Flashback. Hey mister, how much is this mask? Naruko happily asks to the shopkeeper. Ha, oh. It's just you. Go on, get out of my shop, you vermin. Go on, get, shouted the shopkeeper while shoving her out the door. You want this? Here. Take it and piss off. He growled while throwing it at her. A tie. Hey. What was that for? Shouted Naruko with tears brimming her eyes. The shopkeeper replies with slamming his door closed. Flashback end. And why am I so different from everyone else? I'm the only one with ears on top of my head. And not to mention the tails I have. The only other people I've seen with tails are dogs and cats. No human has one. Naruko sadly thought while holding her two tails and on the verge of crying with a few tears running down her face, making a few wet spots on her pillow. While sleep slows takes hold of Naruko's soft whimpers can be heard as she cries herself to sleep. Unknown location. Naruko wakes up and immediately notices her surroundings are not the same as they were when she fell asleep. She finds herself in a narrow corridor, high gold walls and roof covered with pipes running the length of the wall on both sides. Slowly standing, she notices that the floor is flooded with water which reaches her ankles. The long sound she hears is a heavy breath breathing in and out, followed by the occasional sound of water dripping and hitting the water below. Slowly and quietly walk down the corridor following the sounds of what sounds like something breathing with a soft growl every few breaths. After walking for about a minute, Naruko comes into a giant room with a large double gold cage gate. Beyond the cage gate is a void of darkness. On the cage door about halfway up where the two gates meets is a piece of paper. On the paper is the kanji for seal thong. Slowly walking to the cage, Naruko says softly, "Hello, anyone here?" No reply. "Hello," she says loudly. Out of nowhere behind the gate, two huge red fox-like eyes open and stare down at her. The eyes rise higher and higher, still staring down at her while slowing, becoming bigger as they close the distance to gate. Out of the shadows, a giant red fox the size of the Hokage monument emerges. Naruko gasps, backing away from the cage as the fox nears the gate. www. What or where am I? What is this place? Fanatically asking and stuttering from fear. So many questions, not even a hello or a giant fox, run away. How boring. Oh well, take what you can get, snorted the Kyuubi in its deep voice. Well, sorry for being confused as hell and not know what the hell is going on. Naruko shouted with annoyance. Ha 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 ha. The Kyuubi roared with laughter. You got guts speaking to me like that. Do you even know who I am? Kyuubi asked. Did you not hear my question earlier? So, I'll say once again, who are you? I don't recall seeing foxes in a weird place like this, let alone a huge giant talking fox. Naruko deadpan. Who am I? Why, I am the mighty Kyuubi, the strongest of the 9 Buse. Remember it and remember it well, brat. The Kyuubi roared with pride. Kyuubi, but how you are supposed to be dead? How and why are you here? The Kyuubi raised an eyebrow at that. Is that what they've told you? Ha, pretty sure they know that I'm sealed within you. Sealed? Ha, what do you mean? A very confused Naruko asked. The Kyuubi released a long heavy and sat down. Listen and listen well, Kit. This is going to take a while. With that being said, Naruko sat down looking up to the Kyuubi. When I attacked this village of yours, the Yandere engaged me in battle. Seeing as he could not hope to best me, he successfully sealed me within you and died due to the Fu and J. Atsu he used to seal me. Originally, he was only going to seal half of me in you and the other half in himself due to most likely not having enough chakra, but somehow he gained a large amount of chakra and so he sealed all of me within you. So, you're the reason this village hates and ignores my existence, Naruko said softly and sadly. So, where am I inside the seal? She asked. This is your mind and no, I'm in the seal. You are sitting outside the seal. When you enter your mind, your conscious creates this place in order for you communicate with me and a few other things, though you do not need to be in your mind in order to communicate. We can talk while out in the real world, the Kyuubi explained. Then, do you know why I am so different from the rest of the villagers? Naruko asked while pointing to her ears and holding one of her tails. Yes, I do. Have you not asked the Sandame this? Asked Kyuubi. I have, but he says he doesn't know why, she replied, holding her head low, looking at her feet. He does know why. As to why he hasn't told you, most likely trying to protect you. You will have to ask him yourself to get the correct reason. Though you need not worry, he means you no harm and isn't trying to betray you if that's what you're thinking, the Kyuubi said, seeing the frown forming on her face. Well, that's a relief. I'll go ask him tomorrow. So, why am I like this? Asked Naruko with the hope that of finding out and that her grandfather figure hopefully means well. When you were a year old, you were on the verge of dying due to your body not adapting fast enough to be able to withhold my chakra. In order to keep you alive as well as myself, I had to heal you. The effects of me healing you, and in order for you to live, you were turned into a Hanu, half human, half demon. As a side effect of this, because I am a fox demon, you gain traits of a fox during your transformation. So, you gained those ears and tails. You will grow more tails as you grow older and get stronger. You received a few additional traits as well, but I will leave you to figure it out. Oh, so you also gain new abilities and traits with each new tail, but you must figure out what they are, Kyuubi explained. Wow, this is a lot to take in. Naruko sighed while trying to process all this information. Yes, it is a lot to take in, especially the age you are now, replied the Kyuubi while lying back down. Last 2 questions if you don't mind, asked Naruko. Well then ask them if it pleases you. The Kyuubi replied back lazily. First question. Why did you attack Konoha? Asked Naruko in a slight serious voice. Ignoring the tone used, the Kyuubi thought whether or not he should tell her. After a few minutes, the Kyuubi stared down at Naruko. She gulped at the serious look on his face. Instead of telling you, I will reply with a question of my own. What would you do if you have been forced into a place like this for around 100 years because some arrogant power-hungry used a jutsu to forcefully control your actions, then later managed to escape only to be controlled again? Asked the Kyuubi. Naruko stared wide-eyed at the fox. Is this what happened to you? So, what if it did? That is not the point. The point is what you would do. The Kyuubi replied with haste. Naruko thought for a while before answering. To be honest, not entirely sure as I don't know what it's like, but from trying to imagine it, I'd say I would have done what you did, Naruko said, trying to comprehend the scenario. So why don't answer your own question then? Retorted the Kyuubi. Naruko sat there for a while, then smiled up to Q. All she got back for the smile was a snort from Kyuubi. So second question, is Kyuubi your name? Asked Naruko. The Kyuubi raised an eyebrow at the question. What makes you think that and why do you ask? Huey asked out of curiosity. Well, like Gigi, Sandaime Hokage isn't his name. It's Serbi Hirozen. It's just a title. So, I thought that maybe with you it would be the same case. Naruko asked with a smile on her face showing her slightly longer canines. The Kyuubi stared at the strange child in front of him with slight interest at her pure hardiness behavior. You are correct in that assumption, but you have not earned the right to know my name. Maybe as time flows, I might tell you my name. Normal traditions among us demons, only those seen worthy may refer to us by our names, replied the Kyuubi while laying his head down and closing his eyes. Naruko stood up with a wide grin filled with pride and happiness while holding her thumb up and sigh. Well, my name is Uzumaki Naruko, the future's best Hokage to be ever seen, and Dad Bio opened one and stared while Naruko turned around. Thank you, Kyuubi. You could have refused to say anything to me. At least I now know why I am so different from everyone in this village. I will have an easier life now that I know what I am, and I'm also very happy that I found myself first, Naruko happily said softly, but loud enough for the fox to hear with a single tear running down from her right eye. Naruko left the seal, leaving Kyuubi to his thoughts on what she had just said. Friend, interesting person you are. Let us see for how long you can keep up that attitude, the Kyuubi thought before closing his eye and falling asleep. Naruko woke up the next morning feeling a lot happier than usual. After quickly taking a shower and getting dressed in the same clothes she wore the previous day, "It few things I need to tell you," Kyuubi said out of the blue. Damn it, CQ. You scared the hell out of me. Going to have to get used to that. Naruko screamed, causing her to stumble and fall, knocking the door open. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. That was a good way to wake up in the morning, said the Kyuubi while laughing at Naruko's predicament. Damn you, you damn furball, growled Naruko while getting back up and locking her door. Furball, oh you damn brat, I'm not a furball. Also you don't need to talk out L. Ooh, just think what you want to say and I will hear it. You don't want people to think you insane to you, asked the Kyuubi with annoyance. Maybe I do want people to think I'm insane, Naruko thought sarcastically back to Kyuubi, who just rolled his eyes. Anyway, as I wanted to say is that you are rather small for your age and that ramen diet of yours doesn't exactly help. Kyuubi said seriously. Hey, it's not like I can afford anything else and Ikyaku ramen is one of the few places that doesn't kick me out as soon as I enter. Ah, Naruko shot back. I have a solution to that. Now that you are a Hanu, you are now able to eat raw meat as well as most foods that would normally kill a human. So, when you finish your talk with the old man, you should go hunting out in the forest for food. Not only will it keep you on a healthy diet, it will also allow you to train yourself a bit. Raw meat. I don't like the sound of that, but if it will help, then I guess, with slight disgust in her voice. Hokage Tower. Naruko walked up to the door that leads into the Hoage office and knocks. Enter. A muffled voice responded. Hey, Gigi. Naruko cheerfully greeted the Hokage. Naru-chan, what brings you here this morning? I trust all is well with your new apartment, asked the Hokage. Visits from Naruko always brighten his day. Her lovely, beautiful, and innocent smile of hers is what always brightens his day. Yes, it's lovely. And again, thank you for helping getting it and moving in, she replied. Not at all. We can't have you sleeping in the streets or forest. So, what can I help you with this morning? Naru-chan asked the Hokage. Well, Gigi, last night after I fell asleep, I made contact with Kyuubi, and he told me a few things like what happened when I was a year old. Said Naruko in a slightly nervous tone. I see. So, he told you why you are different from the other villagers? He asked in a calm tone, though underneath he was hoping Naruko didn't take his lying to her about why she was like that too harshly. Yes, he did. He also told me about the additional abilities that come with it. Hai also told me that you knew about this. She replied, looking down, hiding her face, making it impossible to read her expressions. The Hokage sighed, taking a puff from his pipe before setting it down and puffing out smoke from his mouth. What he says is true, I do know, as I was there when you transformed into a Hanu. You must understand that I withheld this was to protect you from possible harming yourself and not doubt the villagers if they found out how you were turned. Life could have been a lot more difficult than you not knowing. I plan to tell you this when you graduate from the Ninja Academy, where I feel that you would be able to better handle this information when you were older and more mature. I am very sorry for having to lie to you about this. The Hokage said in his lecture voice. Naruko looked up to him with a massive grin on her face. I understand. I'm just happy that it was the reason I was hoping to get. So Gigi, do you know who my parents were? She asked with hope. The Hokage looked to her with sad a smile. Naruko instantly lost her smile and once again looked down to the floor. The Hokage saw this and in the hopes you cheer her up decided to tell her a part of it. Naru-chan, I do know who your parents were, though I am sad to say that I can't tell yet as they were both very powerful and famous people. I cannot tell you because your parents had more enemies than I dare to count, and if they found out they had a child, they would go to great lengths to take revenge or attempt to kidnap the child. So Naruko-chan, please understand this. When I say I cannot tell you though, when you are promoted to Chunin, I will happily tell you who your parents are, replied the Hokage. Well then, Gigi, you better get ready to tell me because I will make Chunin in no time, Naruko exclaimed happily. I will hold you to that, Naru-chan, the Hokage replied with a smile. Oh yeah Gigi, because I may hon you, I'm able to eat foods that would normally make a human sick or kill them. Raw meat being an examples. So, is it fine if I hunt in the forest? Asked Naruko. Yes, you may, as long as you are careful and take what you need and no more, the Hokage replied in a serious tone. Hi, I will, and thanks again, Gigi, Naruko said before running out the office towards a brighter and happier future. Or did she, slowly stirring to the sound of a bird happily chirping away? Moaned Naruko while rubbing sleep from her eyes. Damn bird, Do you always have to chirp from right outside my window? She said softly in a tired voice while dragging her feet to the window. Opening the window and waving her arms around. Stupid bird, and look, the sun is barely up yet. She sighed. No matter what I try, I always wake up just before the sun comes up. Wed Naruko, tapping her fingers on the table while waiting for the 3 minutes it takes for the ramen to cook. Need to go and hunt today. I've run out of meat. Need to thank Q-chan for the advice on hunting. Not only do I get free food, but also the pelts I get from my catches really do help to bring in some extra pocket money, Naruko thought while making a mental note to thank Q. No need to thank me, kid. You the one that come up with the idea after seeing those hunters wearing animal pelts. Beside, you already thanked me 2.5 years ago when I taught you how to hunt, replied Kyuubi, impressed with the idea of selling the pelts. Oh. You up morning, Q-chan. And hey, thanks is due where thanks is due. Though, that reminds me I haven't thanked Enyuzan. He offered to buy me my clothes for me. All I need to do is leave a note in the box by my front door saying what clothes I want along with the money needed, and poof, the next day I have clothes in the box, Naruko remembered while getting ready to show. Oh. Look, I have my third tail now. Wonder what I get with this one, Naruko said, finally noticing the additional tail. Naruko is now a 51-7-year-old. Her hair now reaches towards the middle of the back. She has lost all baby fat and is a bit more defined body build than normal kids her age. Muscles on her calves and biceps are slightly visible. Kitsans tend to develop early on, thus making her seem a few years old than she really is. The last few years have been different. She doesn't get abused as much as she used to now that she is able to comfortably outrun the mobs and few occasional tunins. Though luckily enough, she doesn't get chased by John, and thanks to Enu, No, and Taka. No has been the one that helps Naruko sell her pelts to the Anbu, as they have plenty of uses for them. Her house still gets damaged fairly often, more so on her birthday, which is also the same date which Kyuubi attacked the village. Naruko and Kyuubi have become closer over the last few years, Naruko making it a habit of speaking to Kyuubi inside the seal every night. Or if there is nothing to say, she just spends time with Kyuubi before she goes off to sleep. Huey has come to acknowledge Naruko as a friend, though hasn't admitted it to her yet. Climbing out the shower while wrapping a towel around her, she makes her way to her closet to change into her new regular attire. Kid, you better hurry up the hunting because if you remember, it's your first day at the academy today, Kyuubi warned, seeing as it looks like Naruko has completely forgotten about it. Oh, I totally forgot. Thanks for reminding me, Q-chan. Naruko said frantically, proving Kyuubi's point while quickly putting on her clothes and running out her door while still tying her ribbons onto her pigtails. Her new attire consists of a black long-sleeve tight shirt with an orange sleeveless jacket vest over her shirt. Same design as Yori from Bleach, with long black skin-tight pants that reach to her ankles. Her tail's wrapped around her waist, making it look like a belt, with black boots that reach to her midcalves, slim and tight enough that the pants and boots look like it's one piece. Few hours later, I still have an hour before class starts. Should still go and hang around school and see all who is starting with me this year. Naruko thought while making her way to the academy, trying to imagine what her first day will be like. You should memorize the sense of all your classmates and teachers. You never know what might happen. Also, when your day is done, go to one of the training grounds, preferable one that is unoccupied. As now that you have your third tail, I will teach you what ability that comes with it and how to it. Kyuubi half warned and told, do though the way you said that sounds creepy. So, what is it you are going to teach me? And I thought you said I had to figure out what abilities I get with each tail. I have only figured out that the second tail highly increased my agility and flexibility. Still haven't figured what other abilities I have. Just that with each tail, my strength and stamina increase several fold, Naruko replied. You will find out after school what I have in store, who said in a voice that slightly scared Naruko. And yes, I did tell you to figure it out, but this specific ability you might not figure out due to what they will be teaching you at the academy. Now go on, get. Class starts in about 20 minutes, Kyuubi said, so he can go and prepare for this afternoon's training. Entering the class and stopping at the entrance. Interesting design, I'll admit, Naruko said while taking note of the design of the class. The entrance to the classroom seems to be the back of the classroom with 3 rows of tables and chairs long enough to comfortably sit 3 people per table. Each row has 4 columns of tables, each one being a step lower than the next, the highest being the back row. On the other side of the entrance are windows that give a view of a tree with a swing to the far right near the front of the class. Next to the tree on the left are 6 wooden figure posts with a target on the center of the post. Each post is about 2 human adults' width worth of space between them with a wooden fence behind them. At the front of the class is a podium in the center on slightly raised inch-tall platform the same width as the blackboard behind the podium. The blackboard takes up 3/4 of the wall. To the left of the podium near the window is a single wide desk with a single chair next to it facing towards the podium. Heading towards the desk at the very back of the class in this case is in front of her near the window. Naruko takes a seat closest to the window and looks around the class and notes a few people around 8 in the class including her but only takes proper note of a few people. In the front of the class on the far side next to the wall, Naruko sees Hyuga Hinata. Hinata is 2 inches shorter than Naruko. She has short dark blue hair with 2 braids in the front on either sides of her face. She wears a brown-gray baggy jacket with navy blue baggy pants that reach her midshins with blue shinobi sandals. So Hina-chan is in this class. It has been a while since I last saw her. Last time I saw her was 2 years ago when I saved from those bullies. Naruko thought while thinking of the time she saved her from those 3 bullies. At the desk in front of his the row next is in the middle of the desk is the bug boy that she hears from everyone on how disgusting he is and that one should remain as far away from him as possible. That's Shino if I recall his name correctly. Don't know the family name though. Wonder if what everyone says it's true about him. He seems normal to me though does smell like bugs but that doesn't bother me. Smelled far worse things than that. Naruko thought wondering what all the fuss is about him. From what Naruko can see, Shino is wearing a light green jacket with the hood up. Lastly, the boy and in front of her has black hair and seems to have a hint of blue to it as it shines and reflects the sun. He is wearing a short blue sleeve shirt with a symbol on the back that looks like a lollipop. The top half being red and the bottom half being white along with what seems like white pair short pants from the view Naruko can see. So, this is the Uchiha that I hear so often about. He seems good looking enough. Not sure what the hype is about though, Naruko thought while wondering why the boy is so popular and Kyuubi growls at this. Is there something I should be aware of this boy? She asked after hearing the quite aggressive growl from Q. No, maybe not yet, though. Do keep an eye on him. The Uchihas and I do not have a happy history. And no, I will not say any more, warned and said towards the incoming question as to why their past isn't a happy one. As Naruko finishes her thoughts, 2 boys walk into the room. The boy on the right has black hair tied up, making it look like a pineapple and also has brown eyes. He is wearing a gray short-sleeved jacket that's not zipped up with green hems on the edges of the jacket. On each sleeve of the jacket is a big blue open circle. Underneath is a chainmail mesh sleeveless shirt with dark brown long pants that reach his shins with blue shinobi sandals. His hands are in his pockets and has a lazy attitude look on his face and body language. The boy next to him is a slightly plump boy with a packet of chips in his hands. He has light brown spiky hair that stands up in black eyes with a swirl mark on each cheek. He is wearing an open plain grass green short-sleeve shirt with a white shirt underneath with his clan symbol printed out big on the front with a white scarf around his neck. On both of his forearms are bandages that cover the palm of his hands and reach towards his elbows. To complete the outfit, he is wearing short brown pants with bandages on both legs that starts at his knees and reach to where his blue shinobi sandals street. They both make their way to where Naruko is sitting. The black-haired boy sits next to her and the plum boy on the other side. Hey, I haven't seen you around the village before. Our names are Narushikamaru and my friend here is Akamaiki Choji. Are you new to the village? Asked the now identified black-haired boy known as Shikamaru said in a friendly tone. Oh hey no, I was born in this village. I just tend to avoid contact and stay out of sight from most people. The name is Azuaki Naruko. Nice to meet you. Naruko replied slightly happy that these kids don't actually know who she is. Actually, on that thought, none of these kids have reacted to me in any way so far, unlike the rest of the adults. Wonder why. Naruko suddenly realizing this. Yo. Good to meet you, responded Choji while crunching away on his chips. Naruko. Ha. Nice to meet you, too. You seem just like me. Too troublesome to bother with anyone else, Shikamaru replied while holding his hand out. Naruko, taking hold of it and shaking it, replies. Yay. Something like that. So, you want to be a ninja as well? Naruko asked quickly, changing the subject on why she avoids people. Shikamaru noticing the sudden change in subject and decides to leave it at that. Not really, but my troublesome family said I must sigh. And at least this way I can keep an eye on my friend here, Shikamaru replies while point his thumb to his friend next to him. With class now full, the teacher walks in, ending the conversations between everyone. As soon as the teacher takes his first step down between the rows, a boy with a dog in his jacket coming running into the class, nearly knocking the teacher over. The boy with the dog has dark brown spiky hair with black slit-like eyes, and on each cheek is upside down red curved triangle making look like a fang. He is wear a gray zipped up long sleeved jacket to keep the dog from falling out with the hood up. The jacket has black fur on the edges of his hood and at the end of his sleeves. He is also wearing brown long pants that reach his shins with blue shinobi sandals. The dog, from what Naruko can see, is a white-gray dog with long flappy ears. And the dog is clearly small if it can fit in his jacket like that. You're lucky I only consider someone late when I'm standing in the front of the class. Make sure next time you are here a few minutes earlier. All right, the teacher calmly advised the boy. Yes, sensei. Sorry, sensei. Won't happen again, the boy said, sounding out of breath. Right, class. I'm Yumino Aruka. Please call me sensei or Aruka sensei. Your life now begins at this academy where you will be taught all that you need to know on how to be a ninja. Your classes will include Enjutsu theory, shuriken and kana handling, taijutsu, fitness and obstacle course training, mathematics, history, and later The class will be split into girls and boys. The girls will have an additional class on being kuniki, and the boys will go to a class on being a shinobi, and for the last year a class which will also split the class into separate genders. Aruka lectured to the class. So, this is Aruka sensei that Gigi said he would personally make my home room teacher. Well, I trust Gigi's judgment on this. We'll just have to see how it goes. Naruko thought, remembering what the Hokage said to her about getting personally appointed homeroom teacher. Right, well, now we will begin class registration. Please respond appropriately when your name is called, Aruka said while picking up the class register. Aram Shino. Hi. So, it's Abraham Shino, the current clan heir for his clan. Naruko thought, hearing his name being called out. Akamaiki Choji. Hi. Few names later. Haruno Sakura. Hi, sensei. Haruno, a non-clan female. Interesting, Naruko thought when the girl with pink hair sitting next to the Uchiha answered, Hyuga. Hinata. Hi, Hinata said softly and nervously. Still lacks self-confidence, I see. Wonder why she seems stronger than she lets on and has more determination than any other kid I've seen. Naruko thought, trying to figure out why she is so abnormally shy. In Isuzuka Ka. Hi, replied Ka with a bark following afterwards. Excited to Ayakamaru, Ka asked to the bark followed by another happy bark. So dog boy, there is Ka Inuka, explains the dog that follows him along with the traits and smell of dogs I pick up from him, thought Naruko. Few names later, Na Shikamaru, Na Shikamaru said louder. Naruko looks to her left right to see him sleeping. Rolling her eyes, she shakes and tries to wake him up while thinking, damn lazy fell asleep already. Oi Baka, wake up, Naruko says while frantically shaking the lazy Shikamaru groans. Nara Shikamaru. Ho hi. The Naru replies lazily. I advise not to fall asleep next time. Or warns while the Na just nods and mumbles something inaudible before putting his head back down again. Uchiha. Sasake. Hi. Sasake replies with slight happiness in his voice, followed by a lot of love sighs and all the girls turning towards him, the hearts in their eyes. What the? This class is filled with fangirls. The only girl not to drool over him is Hinata. Honestly, I don't get what is so great about him. Naruko thought, slightly annoyed and confused. Uzumaki. Naruko calls out and instantly looked towards her with a fake smile and cold hate-filled eyes. Hi, Naruko responds. There is that look again. So he is just like the rest. So much for the hope of a pleasant homeroom teacher. Naruko thought sadly and with a bit of anger. Last but not least, Yamanaka Enino. Hi. Ino sings back. Wow, she is pretty. Wonder how long she spends on her hair. Naruko thought while looking at the yellow blonde girl who has her hair done in a ponytail that reaches to the middle of her back that is sitting next to Sakura. Wow, 7 clan heirs. This class seems to have the potential for a strong generation, she thought, looking at all the clan heirs in the class. Now that that's done, right, so I will be your homeroom teacher. So if you need anything, you may come to me for help. I will also be your Enjutsu theory, shuriken, and kana handling, taijutsu, and obstacle course training teacher. Mizuki sensei will be your mathematics and history teacher along with as the teacher for the boys' shinobi class. Suzume sensei would be your teacher along with being the girls' kunoichi teacher. Aruka once again lectured to the class. During the Enjutsu class, can anyone tell me what chakra is? Aruka asked the class. Only one person put their hand up. Yes, Sakura. Aruruka nodded to her. Chakra is the molding of 2 different energies within the body. Physical energy comes from stamina which can be obtained and increased through hard work and physical training. Mental energy or spiritual energy comes from the mind and one's conscious which can be obtained and increased through studying, meditation and experience. Molding these 2 energies in perfect unison is what creates chakra. Sakura happily and with pride answered the question. Well done, Sakura. That's 100% correct. But if the 2 energies are not mixed in perfect unison, the jutsu being used will fail or not be fully effective. Or praised Sakura. Wow, a book nerd. Sashi is rather smart in those terms, but wonder how she will fare physical. Naruko thought towards the textbook-like answer Sakura gave later that afternoon. Well, that was a downright crap day. The only classes I was actually allowed in were Aruka sensei's class. The rest kicked me out. At least with my hearing, I could still clearly hear what they said. Need to take my textbook out with me next time, Naruko said with a sigh. She really had a bad first day from being kicked out of the classes before they even began for no reason, though she knew what the real reason for it was. Coming up to an empty training ground, she sat underneath a tree, having a short rest from her daily exercise of running as fast as she can arrow. The village until she could no longer move and then tries to complete a lap afterwards. Hal, this running is paying off. I can now run 3 times longer than what I could when I first started, and now I can complete a lap around Konoha when I'm at my limit. Wonder if that's now my new limit, Naruko thought happily and pleased with her progress. Kid, I told you running around will be worth it. Running like that only increases your stamina and helps define your muscles. You only gain minimal strength from it. Now that you have started going to the academy, you should start adding strength training to your schedule. Ask Enu to get you some weights for your legs, arms, and chest. And don't think too much about you getting kicked out of class. There is not much you can do about it. You can go and speak with the old man, though I think it might make things worse. Yosha, I get to up my training routine. I can't wait, Naruko excitedly thought. And thanks Q-chan. If they carry on doing that for the rest of the week, I will go speak with Gigi. Naruko gratefully replied back to Q. So what is it you wanted to teach me? Asked Naruko. I will be teaching the thing that makes us Kitsun stand out from the rest of the demons. Transformation, or better, is known as shapeshifting. Replied with great pride in his voice. Shapeshifting. Wow, that's super cool. I can do that. Wow, that's really cool. Naruko shouted in her mind while jumping around. Shaking his head, Kyuubi tried to calm down Naruko so they could get underway. All right, calm down, Kit. And with that, Naruko calmed down and sat back down underneath the tree. First, there are a few things you must taking note. While you are able to shapeshift into just about anything you can think of, you must remember what you change into you will only look like that and will not have its ability. Unless it's an animal. So to better explain this, the Hyuga as you know are known for their use of the Bakugan. If you change into one, you can make it look like you have the Bakugan active, but you will not be able to see what they see when it is activated. You will still have your normal vision. Do you understand so far? The Kyuubi asked. Yes, I do. So basically, I can change into anything. I will still have my own abilities, but will not gain any of theirs. Naruko confirmed. Yes, that's correct. Now if you say change into an animal, you will gain the unique traits on top of yours. Example, if you turn into a hawk, you will be able to fly and your vision will be greatly increased. Or if you turn into a fish of any kind, you will be able to breathe underwater. Or if you turn into a chameleon, you will be able to change your skin color to match your surroundings. This is because when we change at a cellular level and not a DNA level. There was only one kitsune I have seen that could change at a DNA level, though never did change in fear for not being able to change back. Kyuubi continued his lecture. I see, that's pretty cool and sounds very useful. Naruko replied, impressed with what she will be able to do. Yes, this is what makes Kitsune stand out from the rest. Other demons can also shapeshift, but they don't get anything for it. The last thing you must take note of is these shapeshifts are not indefinite. You will change back to your original form. The time you are able to stay in another form is directly related to your stamina, and the size of the form is inversely related. This is the price for gaining unique traits of other animals. That being said, other demons are able to indefinitely stay in another form. The only form you can indefinitely stay in is a fox, as it is the natural form of a kitsune. While you are a fox, your speed, senses, agility, and stealth abilities are increased several folds equal to the number of ls you have, not including the first tail. While in any form that does not have hands, you will be limited to what you can do with your chakra, said Kyuubi in a serious lecture tone. Wow, okay, that's definitely something to remember, Naruko said, taking heed to the final fact of the limits to what she can do. Yes, it's very important. So remember, it can come back to bite you. The great thing about changing is that it doesn't require chakra or anything, as it is a natural ability for a kitsune. Other demons require chakra to change. So to change is pretty simply all you do is will yourself into a form you picture in your mind. If you will yourself to change without thinking of anything to change into, you will change into a fox. So go ahead and try to change into a fox, Kyuubi ordered. So Naruko tried and willed herself to change. Slowly her body absorbed her clothes, leaving her before her body started to contort and crunching could be heard. After around 5 seconds, Naruko was a gold blonde fox with 3 trails. She was the size of a normal dog, fair bit smaller than a wolf. Well done. And in 5 seconds as well, that's very good. The average first time for a demon to change is around 7 to 10 seconds, let alone a Hanu. Who, impressed with how quickly she was able to change. Wow, this is cool. Though I'm a bit disorientated with my senses being increased, and this feels a bit weird, and it hurt quite a bit when changing, Naruko thought to Kyuubi while admiring her form and walking around a bit, trying to get used to the new heightened senses. It always hurts when you change the first few times. So, for you to get used to this form, you should explore around for an hour. Though, don't enter the village. No good will come from that. Hub warned, knowing that wild animals don't go wandering into the village. And with the village not taking a liking to foxes, walking into the village in the form of a fox with more than one tail is bound to cause chaos and trouble. An hour later, now that you are more used to this form and increased senses make you way back to the training grounds so we can continue getting you used to changing forms, Kyuubi said, seeing that Naruko is a lot more comfortable in this form. While Naruko was walking towards her destination, the Kyuubi explained more details about the shape-shifting ability. As you change more often and get the hang of changing, you will be able to decrease the time it takes to change. The fastest I seen someone change was faster than I could blink. Because you are able to change as fast as you are now, I expect you to reach the same level. Knowing you would want to try and surpass that level. Kyuubi said with a bit of laughter in his voice. You know me too well, Kyu-chan. And of course I'm going to surpass that level 1. Always love a challenge. Naruko shot back with pride while finally making her way back to the tree she originally sat under before the training started. She quickly reverted back to her human form before sitting down and said, well, at least I get my clothes back when I change back and don't have to pick them up when I do change. That would be slightly annoying. That is one of the perks of shape shifting. Also, any additional weight you have on you when you change will still remain. So, only your shape and natural body weight will change. So, if you do change into a bird, you should remove the additional weight if you wish to fly. When you become physical stronger, then you won't have to worry about extra weight. And if anything, it will just help with your training. HQ. Add to the list of things that one needs to know when shapeshifting. For the next hour, Naruko continued to change from human to fox and back, practicing and shortening the time in which she is able to change. Well done, kid. You've reduced your transformation time to just under a second. At this rate, you should have mastered this within the next few months, HB said, amazed at the rate Naruko is able to decrease her transformation time. Enough changing for today. For the next hour, turn into an eagle and practice flying and be ready to change into your human form so you can minimi. Say the damage when you fall. Kyuubi warned. And so for the next hour, Naruko was flying around and falling shortly after takeoff on the first 5 to 6 times. While flying high in the sky, after finally being able to fly without falling like a small rocket and enjoying the wind rushing past her face. This is the best ever. Naruko shouted her thoughts at the thrill and rush of flying. Naruko's apartment. Landing in front of her door and changing back into her human form, she unlocks her door and heads in. The first thing she does is writes a note to Enu and places it in the box by her door. Dear Enu-san, when you have the time, could you please buy me a pair of wrist, ankle, and chest weights, hopefully the same color as my best. As I have no clue how much they will cost when you buy them, just leave the receipt and I will pay you back the amount. As for the weight, could you give me a weight you think would be best for me to start with? Just please also keep in mind that I am a fair bit stronger than most humans my age. If I would guess, I'd say I'm as strong as an adult. Could one pair please be double the weight of the first one, as I have recently acquired a form that doubles, almost triples my strength, and can stay in that for as long as I see fit. I would also like to deeply express my gratitude for the past few years and for all the buying of clothes and other needed things of need. I would like to thank you in person though, so in the meantime, thanks. Thank you so much. Your favorite Kitsune Ninja. Hope Enuzen gets this soon. Really looking forward to adding to my training scheme, thought Naruko happily with Yan towards the end while removing her clothes and wrapping herself with her tails before falling asleep on top of her bed. The next morning, just as Naruko gets to the door, she notices that her delivery box is full. So walking up to it, she sees that the weights she asked for last night are in the box along with 2 notes and full ninja weapons set with the 2 pouches to hold the weapons in. Wow, that was fast. Honestly, didn't think it would be here already, she thought, surprisingly seeing that there are 2 notes from Enu and Taki. Naruko first opens the note from Taki. Hello Uzumaki-san, want to wish you luck for the next few years at the academy. I have left you a full shinobi's gear and pouches as a gift for entering the academy. I also would like to ask you to look after my father for me when I'm not around. My brother sat in front of you yesterday. He is also the boy that is bit of a fan group. Thanks, Taki. Oh. It's from Taki's-san, does he mean the kid? Naruko wondered who Taki's brother was. Little did she know that the note would be the last one from Taki she ever received. So, Taki's-san is a Tachi-san who knew, she continued her thought while opens the second note. Foxy-chan, here are the weights you asked for. Hope you like them. I'm really happy that you are taking your training seriously. The wrist and ankle weights are 20 kilograms each and the vest is 25 kilograms, and as you requested, the other pair is double the weight. No need to pay me back for the weights, they're on the house. The weights work on chakra. So if you ever need to increase the weight, just feed chakra into them to increase the weight. I presume the fox and eagle are the new forms you were talking about. I saw them yesterday when you were training. No need to worry. Only myself, Hokage, and the other 2 Anbu will know about this until you choose to reveal them. It's a pleasure. I'm more than happy to help, and I'm sure you will get to thank me in the next few years. Your favorite shopkeeper, Enu. Thanks you guys, Naruko said with a happy and wide grin on her face. So Enuzen is my shadow for this week, she observed. Naruko put on the weights and happy with how they looked. The chest weight looked exactly the same as her normal jacket vest and her weights are the same color. She puts the on and definitely notices the weight. The wrists weights are orange like her vest. They start at her wrists and end halfway up her forearms just like her wrists weights. Her ankle weights are orange and start by her ankles and ends just above halfway up her calves. With her new attire along with the added pouch on her bottom on the right side and a small pouch on the side of her right thigh, Naruko heads to school for her second day. Hopefully, it will be better than her first day. Looking up to a cloudy sky, Naruko makes her way to the academy. It's been 4 months since I've started going to the academy and still only sensei allows me to remain class. Gigi did what he could, but after a week, they started kicking me out again, Naruko thought with sigh. Winter is going to be rolling in soon. Need to prepare as this winter looks like it's going to be the coldest one we've had so far. She continued her thought while rubbing her arms, trying to keep them warm on this colder than usual day. Kid, what are you going to do about your birthday? That's in 2 months. You know how bad it gets during that time? Kyuubi asked, knowing how bad it gets during the time of her birthday, especially on the day itself. Honestly, Kyu-chan, I don't know. The normal living in the forest for a few weeks would be fine, but with this colder winter coming in, and now that I'm at the academy, I don't think it's going to work too. Well, this time round, I think I will go ask Gigi what I should do, she replied, thinking hard on what to do this year to avoid the constant mobs that attack her home and herself. Don't forget to up the weights today. And I think you need a new pair. This pair is quite worn out. You should ask Enu for a new pair or if they can be repaired, Kyuubi informed. Oh. Right. Thanks, Kyu-chan. Hope they can be repaired. I really like this set. Naruko thanked while increasing the weight. Over the past 4 months, Naruko has increased the weights a total of 3 times, including this increase. The weights now weigh 35 kilograms for the wrists and ankle weights and 40 kilograms for the chest weight. Her daily schedule includes of hunting in the morning, school to around mid-afternoon, running around the village, physical training which includes push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups. For her final training, she practices decreasing her transformation time, flying, and changing into other forms as quickly as she can. At the academy, walking into the class, Naruko notices that Sasaki is earlier than usual and can smell a lot of sadness and hatred of him. Wonder why he is here so early and why does he seem so different today. Besides the body language, I can smell quite a fair bit of hatred, Naruko wondered. Naruko's ears twitched to the conversation that is taking place by the desk in front of Sasaki. Hey, did you hear someone killed off the entire Uchiha clan and this guy here is the only survivor? The boy whispered to his friend. Really? That's awful. Wonder how the guy feels. Do you know what happened? The friend asked. Naruko fading out the conversation to her thoughts. She looks to the Uchiha with wide eyes and trembling slightly. What? His clan was killed. When was this? He seems fine. Yesterday must have happened last night. Naruko thought sadly while Q kept his own more rude thoughts to himself. Later that afternoon, making her way to her regular training ground, Naruko holds her head down thinking of the event that happened last night. During the course of the day and on her way to the training grounds, she learned a lot of what happened. She learned that Uchiha Itachi had slaughtered his entire clan, only leaving his little brother alive. A lot of people didn't expect this from him, though not surprised that he was able to pull it off as his was the youngest Anbu captain the village had at the age of 13, 2 years after being accepted into the Anbu Corps. The thing that was troubling Naruko the most was that she could not believe he would do such a thing. There was no way Takizan could do such a thing. Though she never knew him well enough, the fact that Enuzan and Gigi trusted him to help and protect her was the main reason she doubted this. Her thoughts come to an end when she saw Sasaki sitting on a wooden dock a few meters out above a large lake. Slowly making her way towards him, she decides to see if she can help him. Quietly sitting next to Sasaki, he notices her but pays no heed to her presence. Naruko softly asked, "So, do you want to talk about it?" Sasaki just looked towards her with cold dead eyes, causing Naruko to flinch slightly before looking away. "You shouldn't keep this to yourself. You know, you don't need to tell me anything, but you should speak to someone," Naruko said softly. Sasaki grunted. "You're not going to get anywhere with that attitude. All the more reason why I said you should speak to someone." Naruko said a little louder. "What the hell do you know now? If you don't have anything else to say then piss off," Sasaki quietly shot back. "Yay. You right. I don't know what it's like to lose someone or a family for the simple I've never either," she calmly replied. Sasaki turned to face Naruko with a raised eyebrow. What do you mean by that? He asked. I lost both my parents the day I was born to the Kyuubi attack, and because I was born on the day Kyuubi attacked, the village thinks I'm the Kyuubi reborn. They don't say it to write to me, but I can hear the comments they make about me. As a result, I'm hated or ignored by everyone in this village. So, I may not know what it's like to lose a family or a clan, but on some level, one can relate to the pain you feel. Naruko responded quietly. Huey quietly kept to himself upon recalling the day he attacked. Sasaki was very surprised by this, though he didn't show this, but he still was shocked to hear what this girl has been through. After staring at her for a few minutes, he turns away from Naruko, quietly going over everything that has happened in the past 24 hours. Getting up and slowing walking away, Naruko stops, facing away from Sasaki. She says, you don't have to believe me or listen to my words. You can honestly do them what you like, but at least think on them before walking off to train. The next morning, walking into the class along with Shikamaru and Choji, Naruko sees that Sasaki is early again today, though seems calmer than yesterday. Heading towards the desk and sitting down, Choji offers Shikamaru and Naruko some chips. Taking a few chips, Naruko quietly wonders why Kyuubi hasn't said anything since yesterday morning. And when she went into the seal, Kyuubi was nowhere to be seen. Naruko is a little troubled, as Q has the habit of making at least a few comments, especially during training. So the silence yesterday was a little unnerving for her. So is it true? Sasaki asked. Ever since yesterday, Sasaki has been a bit more moody, though that's expected with what happened. But even before yesterday, the only times I've seen Sasaki talk is during registration or when he gets asked a question. So why is he talking, and why is he talking to Naruko? Shikamaru wonders while opening eye while he is laying his head on his arms. As what true? Naruko responds. Is it true? Is what you said yesterday true? Sasaki asked a little louder while still sitting and facing towards the front of the class. Wonder what she said yesterday to get him to talk. The Nara thought while looking towards Naruko, and continues to listen to the rare conversation between Naruko and Sasuke, no less. That is for you to decide. I said my piece, and as I said, it's up to you what to make of it. Naruko replies before looking down to Shikamaru. What was that about? Shikamaru asked lazily. Not much, just some advice I gave about recent events, she replies while looking out towards the window. Seems too bothersome, so I'll just leave it at that, Shikamaru says while closing his eyes, knowing that he is not going to get any more out of her. During Enjutsu class, so today we are going to learn the first Enjutsu you will be learning at the academy, Oruruka lectured while outside standing in front of the training posts. The first jutsu we will be doing this, the Henno Jutsu. The Henno Jutsu uses your chakra to coat your body and chances your appearance to what it is you want to transform into. The jutsu requires 3 hand signs. Enui hats in that order. I trust you know and have practiced all the basic hand signs. Oruruka continued with his lecture. I will demonstrate once then. I want you to practice until class is finished. Oruka said while running through the hand signs, and with a puff of smoke there stood the current Hokage. Right now you guys try, Oruruka ordered with the Hoage's voice. Later that afternoon, while punching a training post, Naruko suddenly picks up 2 additional scents. Still punching to make it look like she hasn't noticed. She takes a few sniffs and recognizes the 2 scents. That's Hinata and Sasaki. Why are they here? Looks like I will have to hold of my shape-shifting training. Naruko thought while continuing training. It seems that they are just observing me. Hinata, I can understand, but why Sasaki? She wondered as to why Sasaki was here. Hinata, from what Naruko gathered, as it's sort of an admiration thing. But Sasaki, she had no clue. Her eyes suddenly widen and she's starting to panic. How often does Hina-chan watch me like that? This is the first time I have realized she is here. Hope she doesn't know about my shape shifting. She thought was starting to get nervous and scared. Smelling that Sasaki has left, Naruko quickly disappears from sight and reappearing in front of Hinata, scaring her. Hinata gasped, stumbles backwards and falls. Catching her in time before Hinata hits the ground, Naruko asks, so Hinik-chan, how much have you seen and how much do you know? Looking up to Naruko, Hinata blushes furiously and stutters out something. Sorry, Hinik-chan, I can't hear you, Naruko says while releasing Hinata and sitting down along with her. IISS said TT that I've only seen you change II into a triple A fox and an eagle. As to what I know it's next to N nothing. Have only seen you TT train from afar WW with my Borgen T. This is the CC closest I've been to you. Hinata stuttered nervously. She knew if she got closer she might get caught. Naruko sighed relief. I see, but could you please not tell anyone of my changing ability? I'm not ready to let everyone know just yet. She said. Well, Hinata quickly nodded. As Hinata opened her mouth and was about to ask something, Naruko cut her off. Sorry, Hina-chan, I won't say more. You will learn in time, but for now, could you please not ask or saying anything about this to anyone? Naruko said softly and nervously. Hinata nodded slowly and closed her mouth. Thank you. You're more than welcome to stay and watch if you want, Naruko said with a soft smile and giggling while standing up and going back to train. Really need to do something about her stuttering and lack of self-confidence. She really is just the cutest, Naruko thought while giggling and walking up to the training post. 5 years later, oi, Kit. Wake up. Loud snore. Wake up. Damn it. Ramen. Damn brat. Wake up already. Q. Roared at Naruko, trying to wake her up. Crash. Ei. Damn it. Q-chan. That hurt. Naruko whined while holding her head with one eye closed and a tear in the other. What's with the rude awakening this morning? She continued whining. Okay. Fine. Go back to sleep. It's not like you have the final exam today, rolling his eyes before pretending to go to sleep. Final exam. Oh. Right. Today's the final exam, Naruko said while making her bed and heading for the shower. Quote, today is the final exam. Naruko realized while running into the shower. Better hurry. You only have an hour. Be warned. Much has changed with Naruko over the past 5 years. The most recent change is the addition of her fourth tail, to which she has partly figured out that her stamina and chakra capacity doubled. But other than that, she is clueless as to what else it did. Naruko is now a 5 feet 5 in 12-year-old girl with a well-toned body. Her hair now reaches below her bottom and has the second biggest pair of necks to Hinata, but not by much. She is known as a stamina freak that could rival Konoha's mighty green beast, as Iruka put it. Naruko, Shikamaru, and Choji became best friends while she became good friends with Shino. Due to spending time with Hinata, Naruko managed to stop her stuttering. Though Hinata is still very shy and quiet, her relationship with Sasaki is more of a rival one, where Sasaki challenges her almost twice a week. Due to this, Sakura and Ino have a deep, undying passion of hatred towards Naruko, saying that she is the only girl that Sasuke pays attention to and is alwa ease with him, even though it's only when he challenges her to a spar. Naruko is now notorious in Konoha for the pranks she pulls. And no matter who chases her, they can never catch her and always disappears out of thin air, earning her the name of Konoha's untouchable prankster. This annoyed Iruka to no end, having to always supervise Naruko when she has to clean up the mess she makes. About 2 years ago, an encounter with Iruka after a prank caused her to not attend class for a month because of the cold, hatred-eyed stare he gave her. After a month, Iruka changed for the better, being kinder and stricter in class to her and giving the occasional ramen treat. This greatly cheered up Naruko, as she finally had an adult outside Ichiraku and the Hokage that she can trust and considers Iruka the brother she never had. Naruko also come to see Enuzen no Enui as a brother as well. I'm very happy that I went to Jiji a week ago. Without the help he gave me, I don't think I would have been able to pass this exam. Naruko thought about how no matter what she tried, she could not do bunch no jutsu. Flashback 1 week ago. Hey Jiji. Naruko happily greeted while entering the Hoage's office. Naru-chan, it's good to see you again. All is going well at the academy? The Hokage asked, happy to see Naruko again. Hi Jiji, though that's also why I am here. You see, I'm have trouble with the bunch and no jutsu. Naruko said, looking rather sad. I asked Iruka-sensei for help. He gave me a chakra control exercise to do, in which I have to try and stick as many leaves to my body as I can with my chakra. She continued, I'm at the point where I can cover my entire body and do my normal training and the leaves will stick during the entire time, but for the life of me, I still can't do the bunch no jutsu. Naruko said with disappointment. That is rather interesting. Do you mind attempting the jutsu now so I can see where you are going wrong? The Hokage asked, wondering as well as to why Naruko is failing to do the jutsu if she can do the leaf exercise so well. Yay, sure. Naruko replied and did the jutsu. In a puff, 5 very pale, unhealthy toppled over clones appeared around Naruko. The immediate problem that I can see is that you are using way too much chakra for the jutsu, the Hokage said, noting that the amount of chakra used was more than enough for a heil jutsu, if not too much for that as well. And that's the thing, I'm using as little chakra as I can call upon, she said sadly, looking towards the ground and dispelling the clones. Wow, just how much chakra does she have? If that's the smallest amount, then I think she might even rival a low-tailed Beiju, the Hokage thought, astonished with the might of chakra she might have. Well, if that's the case, I assure that you will never be able to do that jutsu, and it will only get worse as you are still growing, he said too. The girl, Naruko, only got sadder, on the verge of heartbreaking, thinking now that she will never be able to become a ninja. Truth is, it took her almost 4 months to get to the level she is now with the leaf exercise. She has always struggled when it comes to chakra control. Now Naru-chan, no need to be sad. I've got the perfect jutsu for you, the Hokage said, seeing Naruko's almost depressing mood. Naruko instantly brightened up, her hopes building up again, her bright smile making the Hokage chuckle. This jutsu is called the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. This is normally a Kage jutsu as the amount of needed will drain and kill a person who doesn't have enough chakra. So be careful with this jutsu, and you are forbidden to teach anyone this jutsu without my permission. So you may not teach anyone. Do you understand? The Hokage warned and asked Naruko, giving a quick nod. This is how it's done. The hand seal is a cross to a hand sign with one hand being horizontal and the other vertical. The Hokage told while doing the hand sign and creating a single clone. The difference between this and a normal bunch is that it is a solid construct and not an illusion, and very little control is needed. Please note that this jutsu divides your chakra evenly among you and the clones evenly. The Hokage lectured to Naruko. So using the same amount of chakra you used earlier, use that same amount and do the new jutsu I taught you. He asked Naruko with a nod. Naruko made the hand sign and covered the entire office with smoke. When it cleared, 40 Naruko clones filled the Hoage's office. With wide eyes, the Hokage looked around the room, watching as all the clones Naruko made, squishing each other, trying to find room and space. She made all these clones, and that wasn't her even trying. Naruko, you really are something else, the Hokage thought with pride. All you need to do now is practice this till you are able to make a single clone, he said, earning a nod and wave from Naruko before she bolted out the office. Thanks, Gigi. I owe you one, Naruko shouted, running out to go and practice the new jutsu she just learned. Flashback end. The best part about the Kage Bunshin is that my clones can also shape-shift like I can, though they can only hold the form for half the time I can. So, that should be about 2 days. I also learned how to do the jutsu with a one-handed seal, Naruko thought while running into the class and seeing Iruka walking down the steps to the front of the class. Cutting it close there. Oversleep or something, Shikamaru said with a laugh. Yay, overslept. Glad I got here in time. Naruko sighed while sitting down waiting to hear what the final exam is going to consist of. So, as you know, today is the final exam which will determine if you graduate from the academy. Those that fail will have to wait a year before reattempting the exam. Iruka lectured with a smile. The exam will consist of 3 parts: theory exam, practical exam, and a Enjutsu exam. You must get full marks for the Enjutsu part to pass regardless of what you get for the first 2 parts. Getting full marks for the Enjutsu part doesn't mean that you will definitely graduate. Or said while handing out the paper exam face down. Good luck. You may start, Iruka announced, starting the exam. 3 hours later. Right, now that the theory and practical part are done, we will start the Enjutsu part. If your name is called, please follow me to the next room to conduct the exam. If your name is not called, that means you do not have enough marks to graduate even if you pass the Enjutsu part, explained. Abarame Shino Hi, good, please follow me, said while walking out the class. An hour later, Azumaki Naruko. Yosh. Let's kill this, Naruko exclaimed. Right, please follow me, Iruka said while walking out the class, following Iruka into the next room when she sees her 2 other sensei sitting behind a desk. Mizuki giving her a hard cold stare as she walks in. Right, Naruko, please perform the Henge no Jutsu, Kawarimi no Jutsu, and the Bunchan no Jutsu, asked Naruko. Hi, Naruko responded. Naruko changed into a perfect replica of Aruka, after which she switched positions with chair that was next to her and dispelled Henge no Jutsu. Aruka nodded with a smile before writing down her mark and the Bunchan no Jutsu, please. Aruka asked, hoping she could pull it off knowing how she battled with this jutsu. Sensei, I can't do the Bunchan no Jutsu. Gigi even said that it's impossible for me to use it because of the amount of chakra I have. Naruko said while rubbing the back of her head with a small smile. Mizuki grinned at this. Now hopefully his everything will go as planned. His grin only getting wider at this thought. Well, I sorry to hear that. If that's the case, then I have to fail you. Or said sadly, though, surprised to hear that having too much chakra is a reason for not being able to do a jutsu. Don't be sensei. Is it all right if I do another type of bunch? Naruko asked, making Mizuki scowl. Why yes, if you are able to, then please make at least 3. You might even get extra points for it, Aruka said happily. Naruko nodded and made a half tiger seal and called out, Kage Bunkan, no jutsu. And 3 Kage Bunchans appeared. Well done on the jutsu, but Naruko, how did you learn this? You do know that this is a Kage jutsu? Aruka asked with a raised eyebrow, hoping that this doesn't cause any trouble. Hi, I know that it's a Kage jutsu. The one who taught me this was Gigi, Naruko said happily. Aruka signed in relief. Well, then it's fine, and all I have to say is, well done. You pass and welcome to the ninja life, Genin. Or said with a smile full of pride while handing Naruko a blue headband with a metal piece with Kanahagaka's symbol on it. Naruko ran to Aruka and hugged him, who happily hugged back. After taking the headband on, tying it on her right arm close to her shoulder, Naruko bolted out the room and into the class. And from where Aruko was, he could clearly hear Naruko shout, I am Uzumaki. Naruko. Remember it, and remember it well, for I am Konoha's future's best Hokage. Dado. Aruka, shaking his head with a smile, left the room to get the last student. Few minutes later, Aruka walking into the class with a happy looking Ino. I would like to say well done to everyone and that no one failed. I'll be expecting this generation to do great things. For now you have a week's break before team placements will be announced, so please return next week to this classroom normal school time. Until then you are dismissed, Aruka said with pride. Later that evening, soaked from sweat, breathing heavily, Naruko sat under a tree from a hard day of training. This is pant most I have done. Pant in pant 1 go. Then again, it is the most pant time I have in a day to train like pant. This going to be a hard week, Naruko said between breaths to herself. It's getting late. The sun is almost down, she said, noticing that it's getting dark quickly. Sniff, sniff, sniff. What the? That's blood, Naruko thought while sniffing the air and running to where it's coming from. Sniff, sniff. That's Aruka sensei and Mizuki sensei, Naruko thought while changing into a fox and increasing her speed to max. Old training ground clearing. Naruko arriving just in time to see Aruka sensei getting pinned to a small old building by several canis come skidding to a halt. What the hell do you think you are doing? Aruka shouted in pain. Why, just delivering a special package to Orochimaru-sama, Mizuki said with a grin while dropping down from a branch while holding a Fuma shuriken and slowly walking towards Aruka. Seeing Mizuki drawing back his right hand, preparing to throw the oversized shuriken, Naruko quickly makes a cage bunch while the real Naruko shapeshifts into a kanai. The clone throws the kanai, wedging it in the ground between Mizuki's feet, stopping him dead in his tracks. As soon as the clone threw the kanai, it dispelled. What the? Who's there? Mizuki asked, looking in the direction of where the kanai came from, but finding no one. Even Aruka was confused as to who threw the weapon. Using the distraction, Naruko shapeshifted back into her human form in a crouching position, facing Mizuki. Using all her strength that she had left from training all afternoon, Naruko jumped, bringing her right knee up and kneed Mizuki in the chin, lifting him up high into the air. Finishing off, Naruko turned a full 360 before she extended her right foot, kicking Mizuki in his chest, sending him crashing into the tree behind him and toppling it over on top of him. Landing quietly, Naruko growled before turning to see if Aruka is okay. Aruka sensei, are you okay? And what's going on here? And why is Mizuka attacking you? Naruko asked, trying to figure out what's going on. Naruko, I'm fine. And Mizuki stole a forbidden scroll from the Hoage's office. Iruka replied, confused as to where Naruko came from. You mean this big thing? Naruko asked, picking up the scroll next to the unconscious Mizuki. Yes. What about that temp underneath tree? Iruka asked, pulling out the kunais from Iruka and setting him down. Naruko replied. He's just unconscious, though I did feel a few bones cracking when I kicked him earlier. So, Naruko, where did you come from? And why didn't we sense you dispelling the hench? Good job on using the hench to disguise yourself as a kanai, Iruka said, impressed. Well, earlier I smelled blood and followed it here where I saw you being attacked. The reason for not sensing me is because it's not a hench, it's my shape-shifting ability, Naruko said sheepishly while rubbing the back of her head. Shape-shifting? Asked a confused Iruka. Yay. Shape-shifting, Naruko repeated while changing into Iruka and back to her normal form. Iruka just stood there, mouth wide open, quickly recomposing himself, asked, right, so do you want to get some ramen after we report to the Hokage Yada? Thank you, Iruka s. Ensei, let's go then. What are you waiting for? Naruko replied happily while jump up and down making her way back to the village. Laughing while shaking his head, he followed Naruko dragging a tied up Mizuki and scroll at Ikiruka's ramen. During the meeting with the Hokage, Naruko and Iruka bought the fund for a B rank mission while thanking Naruko for saving Iruka and bring back both the scroll and the traitor. Thanks, Iruka sensei. Naruko thanked him for the ramen. Pleasure, but it should be I that needs to thank you. You saved my life back there. So thank you, Naruko. You did really well. Or proudly thanked her while paying for the ramen. Naruko, your life from now on will only get harder and more difficult. So make sure to train hard and keep your head about you. Iruka advised while walking out the stand with Naruko. Hi. I will always give my all. You can count on me, Naruko said with a grin. The next day, sitting in the Hoage's office, Naruko was getting rather impatient. She had been sitting here for half an hour waiting while they completed the forms required to be a full-fledged ninja. With a drop of blood running down his nose, the Hokage looked at the picture Naruko had taken for her ID. The picture was of her biting her finger and winking her eye with her fox ears fully visible. Naruko, are you sure you want this picture? This is a very important part of becoming a ninja. Once this is done, it can't be redone, he asked, making sure it's what Naruko wanted. Before she could answer, the door to the office opened slightly with a kunai sticking though. Naruko, reacting on instinct, appeared by the door before the door could open anymore. Pulling the door open and grabbing the person and throwing them into the room, making said person to land on the floor face first. Before the person could move, Naruko pounced on the assailant and using one of her tails to binding their hands behind their back while another pinned their head to the ground. Naruko ended the move with placing her left foot on the person's back, keeping him from getting up. The pinned person turned their head to the side to see who the hell pinned them, only to meet hard, cold eyes staring into their own. A cold shiver ran down their spine while the assailant started to sweat, fearing for their life. Naruko let him go. He means no harm though. I hope this will stop future ambushes. Right. Konohamaru the Hokage sighed at the endless amounts of ambushes he had. Hi Gigi, just get this lunatic off me. Konohamaru cried while trying to break free. Gigi? Naruko asked while releasing Konohamaru. Taking another look, she finally notices that Konohamaru is no more than 6 to 7-year-old kid. Yes, the old man there is my grandfather. Didn't you know this? Do you live under a rock or something? The boy said while pointing to his grandfather. Naruko's eye twitched furiously. Oh boy, thought the Hokage seeing Naruko's eye twitch. Baka, Naruko shouted while hitting the boy on the head, knocking him back down to the ground. What the she actually hit me even after knowing who I am, Konohamaru thought while rubbing his head and standing back up. What the hell do you think you're doing? You lucky that it was me. Anyone else would have not been so forgiving. And I do not live under a rock. It's a tree sometimes. Naruko shouted back, glaring at the brat but mumbling the last part. Before Konohamaru could say anything, a man wearing spectacles, a bandana with the village's symbol on it with a long black sleeved shirt and black long pants with black shinobi sandals came running into the room. Honorable grandson, shouted the man. Ebisu sensei, Konohamaru replied. Ebisu looked at Naruko with cold eyes. Honorable grandson, what are you doing here? Especially with that person, he asked in an emotionless voice. Naruko, not paying mind to the insult, left the room knowing that her business here is done. Cheers Gigi, she said, walking out the door. Half an hour later, is this kid going to follow me the whole time now? Naruko wondered, half annoyed. Oi Chibi, come on out. I know you have been following me since I left Gigi's office. Naruko said, tapping her foot while folding her arms. Dropping the cloth disguise, Konohamaru shouted to Naruko, Oi! Don't call me that. Which only earned a grin of her. That's what I expect of boss, being able to detect me from so early on. Konohamaru said with a grin, point towards his boss. Boss? Naruko asked with a raised eyebrow. Yes, so now that you're my boss, train me, he stated. You want me to train you? Naruko asked. Konohamaru quickly nodded back. I won't train you until you can run 5 laps around this village, Naruko said firmly. And so Konohamaru saluted and started heading to the village outskirts to do as told. While he didn't complain, I honestly expected him to moan and groan or something, not just salute and leave. Naruko deadpan, a bit unimpressed and impressed at the same time at the lack of complaint. Later that night in the seal, hey Q-chan, I finally become a full-fledged ninja, documents and all, Naruko said happily while walking into the cage and sitting against the laying fox. Well done, Kit, though. You did hold back a lot during the practical part of the exam, Kyuubi congratulated her. I didn't want to show my full strength, and besides, that could have killed someone seeing as they made us fight each other, she replied. True. Do you remember the question you asked wanting to know my name? HQ asked while looking down to Naruko. Naruko looked back at Kyuubi and raised an eyebrow before nodding slowly saying, yes, I do. I am willing to tell you what it is if you still wish to know, Kui said, knowing that this is a sign of friendship and trust, as demons only give names to those who they deem worthy and trust. Naruko smiled brightly with her tails waved happily in random directions. Yes, please. I still do wish to know your name, Naruko said in loving voice. Huey sat up facing towards Naruko and smiled while holding a fist down to her. Name's Kurama, and just so you know, you are the second human, or rather first hand you to know my name, Huey said with a grin, making a fist and connecting it with Kurama's. Naruko smiles while a tear runs down her eye. Thank you, Kurama, this means a lot to me, Naruko thanked softly. Oh, and get some rest, you have a hard week ahead of you, and starting tomorrow you are going to increase the weights to 65 kilograms including the wrist and ankle weights. Kurama's aide with an evil grin at the training he is going to put her through. A slightly pale Naruko left the seal, the grin downright scaring her. Hey Shika, who do you want to be with? Naruko said, sitting at her usual spot at the back of the class. Honestly, I would be fine with anyone, though would prefer you, Choji, and myself. Though I know it's not going to happen. There are no doubt going to keep the Enika-Cho combo together, Shikamaru said back lazily. While Naruko and Shikamaru were thinking about who was going to be on whose team, Haruka was bussing, giving a speech about how their life is only going to get more difficult from here on, and the regular speech about the wall of fire that everyone has. Now for the team placements. Each team will consist of 3 genin and 1 jonin instructor. You cannot swap with others. The team you are put in is the team you will remain in, Haruka said to the class, knowing that some are not going to be happy with the selections. His statement was more for the group fan girls that won't be placed with a certain Yuaha. Team 1 few teams later. Team 7 Azuaki, Naruko, Haruno, Sakura. Why do I get the fan girl? Naruko cried with tears running down her face. Great, I get the Uchihas, Sakura said sadly, dropping her head on the desk. Oi, come say that to my face. Naruko shot back while standing and placing one foot on the desk. Ha, what did you say? Sakura stood up facing Naruko, making Shikamaru move back slightly and grumbling something about troublesome women. Before the situation got out of hand, Haruka shouted using his famous big head jutsu. Sit down and keep quiet. Naruko just scoffed and sit back down while Sakura nodded furiously before keeping quiet and sitting down. As I was saying, Team 7 consists of Azuaki, Naruko, Haruno, Sakura, and Uchiha Sasuke. Aruruka repeated. Shoneru, take that, Ino Buddha shouted while point to Ino sitting next to her. Ino cried for a few seconds before turning back on Sakura. At least I don't get the Uchihas on my team forehead. Aruruka's sweat dropped at the verbal brawl. Naruko's eye twitched dangerously. Seeing that Naruko was about to possibly kill someone, Aruka said the names for the next team. Team 8, Hayuka Hinata, Aram Shino, and Inazuka Kiba. Aruka said, happy that it diffused the situation a bit. Team 9 is still in circulation. Team 10, Yaman Nakaino, Naru Shikamaru and Akamaiki Choji. Aruka said, finished calling out the teams. Ino cried again for the second time, whining something about life being unfair, while Sakura tried to comfort her by saying how right she was, but the Uchiha on her team made up for it. Ino only cried more. You are all dismissed till after lunch, where you will meet your John and Sensei. Aruka dismissed the class. 3 hours after lunch ended. Gao, where the hell is this guy? Naruko shouted, getting very annoyed, pacing around the room. She wasn't the most patient type. Sakura was agreeing with Naruko and so was Sasaki, but wasn't showing it. That's it. He asked for this, Naruko said, grabbing the board duster. Naruko placed it in between the door so when it opened it would fall. Oi Baka, what are you doing? Sakura asked while her inner self was starting to like this girl what he deserves. Naruko scoffed back. Being so annoyed, Naruko didn't end it there. She made a clone and made it change into a large hammer using the Hen no Jutsu. This surprised both Sakura and Sasaki. Naruko, what is a clone going to do? It's not like it can do anything, Sakura stated, confused as to what Naruko was doing. It's a cage bunken. It's not the same as a normal bunch, Naruko replied while placing the hammer above the door parallel to the floor. There. This is going to good, Naruko said with a devilish laugh. What is she doing? Surely she knows that won't work on an elite jonin, Sasaki thought. Few minutes later, the door opened. As a head appeared through the door, the board duster hit the person on the head, followed by the hammer swinging G downwards, hitting him in the face and making him stumble backwards. It actually worked. I don't believe it, Sasaki thought with wide eyes. Sure. Great work, Naruko. Sakura's inner self shouted, walking back into the class, the man's eye twitching. He was expecting the duster, but not the hammer. Naruko was rolling on the floor on the verge of pissing herself. She was laughing so hard. The man that walked in had gray, slightly spiky hair that stood up. His headband was angled so that it covered his left eye. A black mask covered his face from the middle of his nose downwards, which blended into the long-sleeved black shirt he was wearing with a green sleeveless utility jacket that all chunins and jonins got. He had black fingerless gloves with a metal piece on the back of the glove. He also wore black long pants with a bandage on his right thigh to hold a kanai pouch and wore black shinobi sandals. Sashi was the one that pulled the prank. Damn brat, the man thought while his eye was still twitching. Well, to be blunt, I hate you. Meet me on the roof, he said, disappearing in a puff of smoking. On the roof, Naruko got to the roof way ahead of the others as she bolted to the roof. Walking up to the man sitting on the railing, reading an orange book. Naruko took a few sniffs before her eyes went wide, remembering the scent she got familiar with very quickly. Enu Nissan? Naruko asked quietly. Enu responded with an eye smile and a nod. Enu En-san, Naruko said loudly, hugging him. Hi. It's me though, that's my Ambu name. My actual name is Kakashi. Kakashi said while rubbing the top of her head. Kakashi. Naruko repeated, looking up to him, in which Kakashi nodded to her. While still hugging, Sakura and Sasaki arrived, seeing Naruko now hugging the man she just pulled a prank on. Curiosity got the better of Sasuke, so he asked, Naruko, why you hugging him? Letting go and turning to Sasaki with a blush on her face, Naruko responded, I only recognized who he was when I got here. While rubbing the back of her head, the blush still visible on her face. Do you know him? Sasaki asked, still a bit confused and curious. Before she could respond, Kakashi cleared his thought, getting everyone's attention. Right, you can continue this later. For now, sit down there on the steps and we can get the introduction started, Kakashi said, stopping the conversation. Sitting down next to Sasaki and Naruko on the other side, Sakura asked. Introductions. Yes. So now introduce yourselves. Say your name, likes, dislikes, hobbies, and dream. Kakashi ordered. Could you do it first, please? Sakura asked. My name is Hitaki Kakashi. As for my likes and dislikes, I have no intention of telling you. I have certain hobbies and for a dream. Seems like I don't have one. Kakashi introduced himself. All three sweat dropped at the introduction. We only learned his name. They all thought at the same time. So, who is next? Kakashi asked. Naruko quickly put her hand up. Me, pick me, she exclaimed. Kakashi nodding to her with an eye smile. All three wondered how he did that with his eye. My name is Uzumaki Naruko. I like hunting, training, and ramen. I hate the 3 minutes it takes to wait for the ramen to cook and keeping secrets between friends. I also hate fangirls, Naruko said, turning to Sakura, who just glared back. At least I won't have to worry about Naru-chan being a fangirl. Kakashi thought, before I continue, seeing as we are going to be a team, I don't want to hide and keep secrets, so I have something to show you. Naruko stated nervously and looking to Kakashi to see if she was doing the right thing. Naruko, it's your choice whether or not to reveal your additional features. Though your other secret has to remain a secret until you have at least entered the Chunin exams once, so it will have to hold off till then, Kakashi said to her, giving the go-ahead on one of the secrets. Secret, Sakura said, while Sasaki thought the same thing, raising an eyebrow. Yay. So, please don't freak out, though we'll understand if you wish to avoid me afterwards. Naruko said quietly while she looked at her feet, pulling the ribbons, letting her hair down, showing her fox ears and unwrapping her foretails from around her waist, letting them move from side to side freely. Sasaki went wide-eyed and blushed a bit while Sakura just scoffed. And here, I thought it was something serious, but you revealed that you are into cosplay. So what? It's not like it's going to get Sasuke to like you anymore. Sakura said, unimpressed. Sakura, it's not cosplay. They're real. I'm a Hanyu, Naruko said, a bit sad at what Sakura said. Hanyu? Both Sakura and Sasaki asked. Yes, Hanyu, half human, half demon, she replied, looking back at her feet, hiding her expression. Naruko was already having a hard time revealing this in fear of what they might think. And Sakura didn't help with her comment. Sakura, eyes wide, looked at Naruko, noticing that the ears and tails were moving to naturally to be a costume or a hen nojutsu. Sakura looked at Kakashi, who only nodded. Normally this is an S-class secret punishable by death. Only Naruko is allowed to reveal this, so you are not to say anything about this unless Naruko says so. Kakashi warned sternly, making Sakura and Sasaki sweat a bit. I'm sorry, Naruko. I didn't know. It's just that it's not something you normally see every day. Sakura apologized. It's fine, Sakura. Thank you. I guess because I'm so used to it that I forget that it's not a normal human thing to have, Naruko said softly while tying her hair in ponytail. So you guys don't hate me? She asked, looking at Sakura and Sasuke, trying to see what they think. No. It doesn't change anything. I actually think it's rather cute, Sakura said while blushing. Naruko shortly followed, blushing herself. Though I still hate you for taking all of Sasuke's attention from me, Sakura said playfully, sticking her tongue out at Naruko. Naruko just smiled at Sakura before turning to Sasaki. S.A.'s Naruko asked softly with a blush, and looking away, Sasaki said. I don't care what you are. You are still you though. Can you explain this or what? I would, but it would require me to reveal my other secret, which it looks like I can't tell it after we enter the Chunin exams, Naruko replied. Sasaki nodded back while Sakura wasn't sure what kind of other secret Naruko still has, especially after revealing this kind of secret. So now that's over, I can continue. My hobbies are hunting, pranks, and training. My dream is to become the best Hokage the world has ever seen, so the village will accept me for me. Naruko said happily with a great deal of pride and confidence in her voice. Even after everything she has been through and what the villagers have done, she still wishes to get him to see her as Naruko and not the Kyuubi, and wishes to protect this village. A good strong dream she has, Kakashi thought. Good. Next. My name is Haruno Sakura. I like glances at Sasaki, and my dream is glances at Sasaki. I hate Ino Buddha and Baka Naruko, said Sakura. Oh no, not a fangirl. Please help me. Kakashi cried his thoughts, hoping that he could somehow get rid of her or somehow stop her from being a fangirl. Next, Uchiha Sasaki have a few likes and dislikes. My dream, no rather my goal, is to kill a certain man and rebuild my clan, Sasaki said emotionlessly. So, He is driven by hate and wants to kill his brother. Not good. He is still young, so there may be a chance to save him. Hope you will help Naruko, Kakashi thought while glancing between Sasaki and Naruko. So he hasn't taken heed to my words. He wishes to kill Takizan. Hope he won't lose himself in this goal of his. Naruko thought looking at the would-be killer. Sasaki wants to rebuild his clan. So does that mean he is looking of love? Sakura thought with a deep blush while her inner self celebrated and cheered her on. Tomorrow we start our survival training. So be at training ground 7 tomorrow at 050 hours. Kakashi ordered. Survival training. Sakura asked like I need that. What do you think I've been doing my whole life? Naruko said crossing her arms. Not that kind of survival training. This is one that will determine whether you will remain as a genin or get sent back to the academy. This training has 66% pass rate. So that means only 9 of you will remain genin. Kakashi stated with a laugh. What? All three shouted. What about the graduation test? What was that for then? Sakura asked. That was to see who had the potential to become genin. Tomorrow is the real test. So come prepared tomorrow. Oh. And don't eat. You will throw up, Kakashi said before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. I really need to learn that, Naruko said in awe at the move. Oi. Naruko, you seem to know him. Is he telling us the truth or is he pulling our legs? Sasaki asked. I am honestly not sure, though. I don't see why he would lie to you. Well, we'll have to just wait and see. Naruko answered. Speaking of which, how do you know him? Asked Sasaki, restarting the conversation about how she knew him. Sakura also perked up. Interested in this. Sasaki. As I told you, the village thinks I'm the Kyuubi reborn. Because of this, I was kicked out of the orphanage when I was 4 and had to live on my own. During this time, Kakashi was in the Anbu and was one of the guards assigned to me to stop the villagers from doing anything stupid, though EY still did things it did help to tone it down, she continued. I also couldn't buy anything as I was kicked out of all the stores. That's when Kakashi offered to buy clothes and other things for me, Naruko finished. Naruko, why does the village think you're the Kyuubi reborn? Sure. Your features don't help. And I'm sure you're over-exaggerating about the whole village hating you, Sakura said, not believing an entire village could hate one person. It's the truth, Sakura. Until halfway into my academy life, I could count the number of people who didn't hate or ignore my existence on my hands. And before I got my home, I could count them all on one hand, Naruko said softly, but loud enough to be heard. Sakura went wide-eyed. How could this village do something like that? And how on earth was Naruko still so pure and good-hearted? Sakura didn't know. She is sure she would have snapped or broken down. As to why they think I'm Kyuubi reborn, Sakura, do you know what day my birthday is? Naruko asked. Sakura looked down and shook her head. It's the 10th of October. I'm turning 13 this year. 13. That means that you were, Sakura said, but didn't finish. Yes. I was born on the day Kyuubi attacked. Naruko finished the sentence. I don't know what to say, Sakura said softly, almost in tears. You don't need to say anything, Sakura. It's fine and I'm fine, Naruko answered. What I don't understand is fine. You were born on that day, but I don't why they would see you as Q. Are the villagers really that stupid or something? Sasaki finally spoke up, asking Naruko something he couldn't understand. I would like to think so, but this is what hatred drives people towards them, clouding their own judgment and the need to place blame on something or someone to try rid themselves of their hatred, Naruko replied. So, I hope you see Sasaki what hatred can lead to and the path you going on is something one should never travel. I'm not saying don't get revenge. Just don't let it consume your life. It's not worth the pain and suffering, Naruko told Sasaki, hoping it would stop him from walking down a dark and lonely path. Sasaki didn't say anything and just got up and left, leaving a confused Sakura. Naruko was shaking her head at Sasaki. Next morning, 500 a.m. Oh. Naruko greeted loudly to the slowly approaching Sasaki and a very tired ill-looking Sakura. Oh. Sakura replied tiredly while Sasaki just grunted though he looked just as bad as Sakura. What's wrong with you guys? Didn't sleep well or something? Naruko asked a bit too loud for some not so happy looking people. Naruko, you're too loud. Quiet down, will you? Moaned Sakura. How you so energetic this early in the morning? Asked Sakura, who was a little jealous at the wide-awake Naruko. Sasaki was thinking along the same lines as Sakura. What do you mean? I always wake up an hour before now. If I don't, I won't have time to hunt. Naruko replied like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Hunt? Hunt what? Sakura asked confused. Food and pelts. What else do you hunt for? Naruko asked still like it was supposed to be obvious while pointing to the deer hanging upside down on a tree branch, letting it drain out all the blood inside it. Both Sasaki and Sakura followed Naruko's finger to see the dead deer hanging upside down. Naruko, what hell did you do to the poor thing? Sakura shouted, shocked to see the thing hanging like it was. I killed it. How else am I supposed to eat? And it's like that so I don't ruin the pelt when I skin it. Naruko replied still oblivious. What you gonna eat it? I didn't know you could cook. Sakura said impressed that Naruko could cook already, forgetting about the part of Naruko living alone. Cook? Why would I do that? That only wastes time and energy getting wood for a fire. She said back. Well, how else do you eat it? You have to cook it first before you can eat it. Sakura asked, hoping that Naruko doesn't do what she thinks she does. No, I don't. I just eat it as is. And besides, it tastes better raw. Naruko stated in a matter-of-fact tone. Sakura would have lost her breakfast and supper if she had bothered to eat either. Naruko, that's gross. Really gross. If you ever do that, well, I'm near. You are going to regret it. Sakura said, trying to suppress her gagging. Sasaki was also disturbed by this revelation. Well, it was a good idea to hunt for your own food as it saves money and helps to train you a bit, but the idea of eating raw meat was not a good idea. How can you eat like that isn't bad for you? Sasaki asked. Oh, right. I forgot humans can't eat the things I can. I can eat pretty much anything, including the things that would normally kill a human. Naruko said, forgetting about her different food allowance intake. Sasaki and Sakura both didn't want to think about the things Naruko could possibly wolf down. 3 hours later. Please don't tell me that this is going to be a regular occurrence, cause I'm going to get really annoyed if it is. Naruko groaned with great annoyance. For once, I agree with you. Yesterday was bad, but this is ridiculous. Honestly, what the hell is he doing? Sakura replied just as annoyed. The three of them found a tree to sit under after the first hour had passed and have been sitting there bored out of the ness for the past 2 hours. Well, I'm going to find something to do. Can't skin my catch yet. Still needs another day or so to drain. Naruko said getting up going to find something to do. Sakura started gagging again at the thought of Naruko skinning the deer. Before Naruko could get out from the tree's shade, Kakashi appeared in a puff of smoke. Both Naruko and Sakura got a tick mark on their forehead and their eyes started twitching. Yo, Kakashi greeted waving one hand while still reading that orange book of his. This really ticked off Naruko and Sakura. Even Sasaki was showing his annoyance on his face. You were late, both girls shouted, making Kakashi and Sasaki hold their ears at the almost screech-like shout. Well, I got lost on the road of life, and when I finally found the correct pathway, a black cat walked across my path, so I had to turn. Usuki. Both girls shouted at the more than bland lie. If you're going to lie, at least make it believable, both girls thought at the same time. Hi, Kakashi said, still not looking up from his book. Putting the book away and pulling out 2 bells from his back pouch, Kakashi began to explain what they had to do. You are to try and take these bells from me. Those that do not get a bell will be tied to the post while I eat my lunch in front of you. Those that get tied to the post will be sent back to the academy. Kakashi stated in a tone that scared all 3 would-be genin. But sensei, there are only 2 bells, Sakura said, noting the 2 bells and the 3 of them. Wellest, that means only 2 can pass, but also means that all of you can fail, Kakashi replied. If you wish to get these bells, come at me with the intent to kill. You have until noon. Begin, Kakashi said, starting the survival training. With that, all 3 disappeared. With Naruko hiding behind some leaves while standing on a branch in a tree, Naruko tried to come up with a plan to capture the bells. How do I get the bells? I know I'm strong and fast, but I don't know how I compare to Kakashini. I doubt I will be able to get the bells from him even if I go all out. Surely he knows that we can't go against him our own. Naruko's eye widened. I don't think the point in this is to do it alone. There is no way we can get the bells alone. I need to find Sasuke. I have a plan, but I need him and Sakura. Hopefully, Sasaki can get Sakura to help. I doubt she will listen to me, Naruko thought while coming up with a plan. Few minutes later with Sasaki. Sasaki. Naruko called out softly. Naruko, what are you doing here? Do you want us to get caught? Sasaki asked, annoyed that his position might be compromised. No, listen, I need your help to get the bells. I'm pretty sure I can't get them on my own. Naruko asked Sasaki. I don't need you. Are you that pathetic that you can't get them on your own? Sasaki mocked back. Sasaki, we don't have time for this. There is no way you can do it by yourself, and I already a plan. I just need you and Sakura. Naruko shot back. No. You will only slow me down. I can do this now. Get lost. Sasaki said, getting annoyed. Fine. How about we have a bet? If you can't get the bell after one encounter, then you will help me, Naruko said, trying to get Sasuke to listen. And if I do, then what? Sasaki asked. I don't know. Be a slave for a week. Shave off all my fur. I don't know, you come up with it. Not really the point. The point is you won't get the bell. You might come close, but we'll still fail. Naruko replied, rolling her eyes. HMMMPPH. Fine. I will take your bet. Sasaki scoffed. Seeing Kakashi appearing, Sasaki sprang into action. Sasaki started by throwing a handful shuriken, hoping to distract him so he could get in close. Sasaki managed to get in close after Kakashi dodged the shurikens, throwing a left punch that overextended a bit. Kakashi took advantage of this and moved his head to right while using his right hand to catch Sasuke's left hand by the wrist, immobilizing it. Sasaki then rotated his whole body so his feet were in the air and brought his right foot down in a reverse axe kick. Using his remaining left hand, Kakashi brought it up to intercept the kick and caught it when it was a few inches away from his head. Sasaki then used his right hand to reach out towards the bell. When his finger just grazed the bell, Kakashi jumped back a bit, letting Sasaki go before giving him a Sparta kick to his chest, sending him fly towards a tree. Just before Sasaki reached the tree, he set his body parallel with the ground, facing towards the sky. When he hit the tree, he spun so he was facing down before somersaulting off the tree. During the flip, Sasaki ran through 5 hand seals before ending on the last 6th seal. Kakashi recognized the seal being the Tora hand seal. His eyes widened. No. Genin should have enough chakra for a Kaiden jutsu, Kakashi thought before going through the hand seals needed for a Kawarimi. He flipped through them so fast that it looked like his hands remained by his sides. As soon as Sasaki landed, he activated his jutsu, sending out a large fireball while thinking, Kaiden, Goku no jutsu. Happy that he hit his target, he smirked. When the dust cleared, all that remained was a crater the size of the fireball that he launched. Looking around for Kakashi, Sasaki scowled, getting annoyed with himself. Maybe Naruko was right. We might have to work together. As he finished his train of thought, he felt something grabbing his foot. Looking down, he saw a hand. Before he could jump, he was pulled into the ground and Kakashi jumped up and landed in front of him. Looking down at Sasaki, he gave an eye smile. Don Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. Kakashi said while pulling out his orange book. Do you really think you could beat me alone? Kakashi asked. The others will only slow me down. I'm nothing like them. Sasaki grunted and glared up at Kakashi. You right, you are nothing like the other two. You are by all means better than Sakura and you can even use a Kaiden jutsu. Kakashi stated and Sasaki smirked in return. Naruko on the other hand, you are nowhere near her level. She could honestly give me and a run for our money. She would still lose, but that's no doubt due to experience she sorely lacks. Kakashi continued. You would slow her down, not the other way around, Kakashi said before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Dropping down from her hiding spot, Naruko was laughing hard at Sasaki. Sasaki lost his smirk and grunted again while glaring at Naruko. See? I told you. Now you have to help me, Naruko said while grabbing Sasuke's head and pulling him out of the ground. Sasaki quickly wondered how much strength Naruko has as she just lifted him up like was nothing. Thud. Both Sasaki and Naruko turned to the sound only to see an unconscious Sakura. Sakura, Naruko said, confused as to what Sakura was doing. Well, at least I don't have to go and find her, Naruko said, walking to her to walk her up. Now that you are awake, here is the plan. With Kakashi standing back by the posts, Kakashi was starting to doubt they would attack him now. Sasaki was beaten while Naruko just watched and Sakura fell pretty easily to a genjutsu. Suddenly, he heard multiply whistling-like sounds. Know what it was? He turned towards the sound only to see Sakura of all people standing in an after-throwing stance. Leaping back to dodge the shuriken, wondering what Sakura was doing. Sensing someone use a jutsu behind him, he turned and saw Sasaki flying towards him at high speeds, too fast for it to be Sasuke's doing. Looking behind him, he saw Naruko with a big smirk on her face also standing in a throwing position. So using her strength, she threw Sasaki. At that speed, that must be some arm she's got there, Kakashi thought. Reacting quickly, Kakashi using both hands grabbed Sasuke's arm that he used to punch. Before Kakashi could start to spin so he could throw him back, he let go of Sasaki due to the smirk hat appeared on his. Before Kakashi could blink and get away from out of nowhere, Naruko appeared standing on Sasuke's arm. Eyes wide, Kakashi noticed that the Sasuke's ninja headband that was on his arm is no longer there. Damn, I completely forgot about Naruko's weird changing ability, though I have only seen her changing to different animals, not objects. What else can she do? Kakashi thought, wondering just what Naruko was capable of. Using her tails, Naruko wrapped one around his neck, one around his left arm, and another one around his right arm, while her tails around his arms pulled them apart. Naruko reached and threw a kani. The kanana meet its target, cutting the strings holding the bells to Kakashi's belt, and the Naruko threw the kanai puffed out of existence. Kakashi followed the kanai and watched it cut the strings on the bells before Shay saw it shift and contort like he had seen Naruko so many times when she changed form with that weird ability of hers. Naruko landed in a crouched position with her right knee on the ground and left knee pressed against her chest with Kakashi to her right. Her right hand held above her shoulder. Kakashi could see two pieces of string leading into her fist. Spinning around clockwise with her right foot extended. Naruko tried to sweep Kakashi's feet from under him. Kakashi jumped over her foot, but before he could land it, Naruko used her momentum to carry on spinning, but raising her left foot this time as well and extending her left foot. As she did, the splits connecting into Kakashi's ribs, sending him flying to the side, still spinning but now so that she is doing a handstand while her legs still parallel with the ground doing the splits. Naruko bent her arms and pushed herself off the ground doing several backflips before landing on her feet. Without a sound she landed in front of Sasaki and Sakura. Kakashi stood up while holding his left side. Remind me not to get hit by her again. She hits almost as hard as a certain gambling medic, he thought. While out there somewhere, a gambling medic sneezed, wondering who was talking about her. Walking to the trio, Kakashi saw Naruko standing there with her biggest grin yet, with her right-handed extended outwards with two bells swing from side to side below her fist. Well done. That was some brilliant teamwork. And well done on that sneak attack, Naruko. It got me by complete surprise, Kakashi said proudly with his eye smile, though still holding his side. Naruko's grin got even wider. Kakashi, wondering how that was possible, turned to the other genin to see they all had a grin on their face. Now comes the tough part. Who gets the bells and who gets tied to the log? Kakashi asked, shocking Sasaki and Sakura, though Naruko still had a grin. Kakashi, if one of us fails, we all fail, Naruko said proudly while Sakura turned to face Naruko, surprised by the statement. Is that true? He asked. Both returned the question with a nod and a yes. Well, then I have one thing left to say. You failed. All three were shocked out of their minds. Too shocked to respond. You failed to fall into the trap that everyone I have tested in the past has fallen into. Well done. We are now official Team 7. Congratulations. I am proud to be your sensei, Kakashi said with pride. Ha, was Naruko's intelligent reply, while the others were still too confused as to what was going on. Well done. You passed the survival training. You are now official Konoha ninja, Kakashi repeated. Okay, then what was that bit about failing something earlier? Sakura asked, finally coming out for her stupor state. Everyone else has failed to understand what makes us Konohashbi. Teamwork is what Konohashi shinobi are all about. There is a saying, those who abandon missions are considered trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash, Kakashi said, remembering some painful past times. All three were surprised to hear this, and Naruko, more so than the others, took these words to heart and silently vowed to never abandon her friends no matter what. Not even death would stop her. Utada, we passed, Naruko said, bouncing on her feet, making Rest smile at her. Tomorrow is where the real missions start. Report back here tomorrow at 070 hours, and don't be late, Kakashi ordered. You're the one to talk. Both Naruko and Sakura shouted at Kakashi for telling them not to be late. With an eye smile, Kakashi disappeared once again in a swirl of leaves. Yay, sir, I don't see the problem. Sensei isn't even here yet. Naruko deadpanned. Sakura, you changed your look. You should keep it that way. Makes you look prettier, Naruko said, noticing Sakura's new attire. Sakura is now wearing a tight pink sleeveless jacket that stops just above her belly button. Black fingerless gloves that reach the middle for her forearm. Black tight pants where the left ends below her knee and the right above the knee, and her normal blue shinobi sandals. Her pink hair is still the same, which reaches just below her shoulder blades, using her ninja headband as a ribbon to keep her hair up, exposing her forehead with a single braid on each side of her face that reached just past her green eyes. Oh. Thank you, Sakura thanked with a blush on her face. I see you've changed your hairstyle. Are you not hiding your features anymore? Sakura asked, noticing that she can see Naruko's ears and her tails waving about behind her. Naruko is still dressed in her normal attire. Long-sleeved tight black shirt and long black tight pants with black slim tight boots, so it looks like the pants and boots are one piece. An orange sleeveless jacket, same design as Yoruichi from Bleach over her, and a pair of cloth-looking wrist weights that go halfway up her forearm and ankle weights that reach just past the middle of her calves. Her hair is now in a ponytail, which reaches just above where her tails start. Sasaki still wears a blue short-sleeved shirt with white short pants and blue shinobi sandals, but is now also wearing an orange small school bag on his back. Yep, I have no need to hide them and I'm not ashamed of them anymore. Naruko replied back. Yo, Kakashi greeted while still reading the same orange book. Sakura and Naruko didn't say anything this time, but their eyes were twitching dangerously. Naruko, deciding to see what book Kakashi is reading, walks up to him and reads the front cover. Note the front of the book as the back of the book for us. Ika Paradise. Naruko read aloud. Both Sasaki and Sakura got close to see as well. Moving so Naruko could read the contents, she read the first line out loud. And so, with a final thrust between the valley of her glorious sweat-covered beasts, he releases his essence, covering her face and chest. Both Naruko and Sakura's face went completely red and looked towards the ground, while Sasaki had a deep blush on his face. Steam could be seen coming from the girl's ears. They were blushing so hard. Hentai. Both Naruko and Sakura shouted, disturbed by what Kakashi was reading. Don't read that in public. They continued shouting. Their faces still read enough that a tomato looked pale in comparison. What? It's good literature. And besides, I don't go snooping in the things you read. Kakashi replied back, still reading the book, while one hand rubbed his ear from all the shouting. Faces still read. Both girls looked away from Kakashi while fiddling with their shirts, too embarrassed to say anything else. Kurama was thinking along the lines of, this guy has good tastes. I'm starting to like this guy. And of course, Naruko heard this and her face got an even deeper shade of red. Right now, we need to report to the Hokage for our first mission. Kakashi ordered, getting the trio to follow him, though the girls still had a blush on their face when they arrived to get their first mission. Over the course of the next month, Team 7 was subjected to the lovely time of doing D-rank missions. These missions remain in the village and consisted of a wide variety of tasks to do. Team 7 did missions from walking dogs to babysitting at the orphanage to weeding farm fields to the mission that they are now doing for the BBE lost count number of times, which is to catch the infamous cat known as Tora, the runaway cat. Deciding that she has now had enough, Naruko shapeshifted into a fox and charged for the cat at full speed. The cat had no clue as to what happened. 1 minute she was running, trying to escape the kids chasing her, then the next she was in the clutches of a very pissed fox. Hanging upside down, the cat had all 4 legs bound together by one of Naruko's tails. Naruko shifting back into her human form still holding the cat. Naruko growled deeply and aggressively at the cat, scaring the piss out of it literally as there was a trail of wet marks that followed the cat. Walking up to her team with one final growl, Naruko turned to Kakashi. Mission complete, she said in an irritated voice. The last time they did this mission, Naruko's face looked like a bunch of kids played tic-tac-toe on her face. Well done, but don't you think that was a bit much? Kakashi asked, hoping the cat isn't traumatized for life. No, she will get over it. Beside it, what she deserves, especially after the last time we did this mission, Naruko said. Hoage's office. When Team 7 walked into the office, Naruko let the cat go, which bolted back to its owner, which surprised all the people in the office except for Team 7 as the cat normally runs away from the owner. Mission completed. I don't think anyone will have to bother with this mission for quite some time, Kakashi reported while the client paid for the mission and walked out the room. Right now, your next set of missions. Babysitting at the orphanage, helping a woodcutter deliver his load, Oruruka said, but was cut off by Naruko. No, not a chance in hell. Not doing it. Gigi, please give us something more. I don't know, more ninja-orientated, Naruko said, shaking her head and arms. Whack. Naruko, pay some respect. This is the Hokage, you're talking to the Hokage. Sakura scolded Naruko by hitting her on the head. A tie, Sakura. What was that for? Besides, aren't you tired of doing these missions? Naruko asked while rubbing her head and looking up to Sakura. I did that because you need to respect the Hokage. I may be tired of these missions, but it isn't for us to decide. Sakura lectured. She is right. You are still rookie genin who need experience. There is a system to follow here and it's there for a reason, Oruruka said, confirming what Sakura had said. There are 4 ranks, A, B, C, and D rank missions. Jonins are eligible to do A and B rank missions. Chunins are eligible for B and C rank missions. Genin are eligible for C and D rank missions. Rookie genins are not yet ready for C rank missions, Oruka explained the system they use. But how are we supposed to get experience while we stuck doing these crappy missions? Naruko asked. I am for one with Naruko on this. Sasake said, agreeing with Naruko. You are. Naruko replied, surprised by Sasuke's support. These missions are only holding us back. You don't know what we are capable of. We can handle a C rank mission. Sasake continued. The Hokage looked towards Kakashi. So do you think they are ready? Kakashi. The Hokage asked. Hi. I think they are more than ready. I agree in that these missions are only holding them back. Kakashi responded. Naruko looked to Kakashi with a big smile. Sasake had a smirk on his face while Sakura didn't look too happy about things starting to level up a bit. Well, then we will give you a simple C rank mission. Send him in please, the Hokage ordered. Yada. So, what do we have to do? Escort someone like a prince or princess, or do we get to save them? Naruko asked excitedly. The door opened and an old man walked through. He had a straw hat tied around his neck, a gray sleeveless shirt, light brown pants and sandals. In his hand was a bottle of sake. The old man's face was flushed and Naruko had to hold her nose to stop the strong stench of alcohol on him. It came close to making her nauseous. Oi. These are just kids. They can't protect me, especially the cosplay chick over there, he said, not impressed with what he is getting. Twitch, twitch, twitch. I'll kill you. And it's not cosplay. They're real. Naruko shouted slowly, moving to kill the man. It took Kakashi, Sasake, and Oruka to stop her, though she was still edging closer to the client despite having 3 people trying to hold her down. How much strength does she have? It's taking all 3 of us, and we're only slowing her down. All 3 people that were trying to hold her down thought, Barker, you're not supposed to kill the client. It's counterproductive. Besides, you asked for a C rank mission, Kakashi warned, while Naruko pouted and crossed her arms. Though, sir, it's advised you don't piss off the people you're trying to hire, Kakashi said sternly, not liking the idea of clients talking his team down. I assure you, these 3 are no doubt the best of their age. Sakura got the highest mark along with Naruko among the females. Sasaki got the #1 rookie title, and Naruko, I'm sure, is very close to holding the strongest physical ninja title in our village, soon to rival Tsununade Harem, no doubt. Kakashi reassured the client, if anything does get out of hand, I will be stepping in. He continued, assemble by the north gate in 2 hours, pack for a month trip dismissed. Kakashi ordered 2 hours late at the north entrance. While they were waiting for the client to arrive, Kakashi explained the mission hour. Mission is to escort the client east to Nami Nankuni and guard him from bandits until he has completed building a bridge. Kakashi debriefed the team. Naruko, you will take point as you know the land well and have the best senses out of all of us. Sasaki and Sakura will take the flanks. Sasaki on the left, Sakura right side. I will take the rear, not that rear, you damn purse. Though it's Kakashi, so I don't blame you, said Kakashi, giving out the formation plan. As Kakashi finished, the client arrived, still stone drunk and a bottle of sake in his hand. Kakashi, this is going to be a problem. I can't smell anything with him here, Naruko said, unable to smell anything but the sake. It was strong enough that Naruko was starting to get nauseous again. Sir, could you please hold off on the drinking until we reach U village? Kakashi asked, seeing Naruko going green. What's wrong with her? She is greener than my grass back home and I live by a river. So that's saying something, the client asked, seeing Naruko turning rather green. That would be you. She has an extremely sensitive nose that puts a pack of tracking hounds to shame. So please refrain from drinking, Kakashi explained, while the rest were quite shocked to hear how sensitive Naruko's sense of smell is. Now that we are all here, please introduce yourselves, Kakashi ordered. Sasaki, Sasaki said with a wave. Haruno Sakura, she said happily. Yu Uzuaki Naru Yu Ko, Naruko said, still feeling queasy. Hitaki Kakashi, and we are Team 7 at your service. Kakashi finished. Tuna the master bridge builder. Tuna greeted with a bow. Right, let's head out, Kakashi ordered. And so the group headed out with Naruko at point, Sasaki and Sakura on the flanks, Kakashi at the back with Zuna in the middle. 3 hours later, for the most part of the trip, the group hadn't said a word. The normal chatterbox was busy concentrating on leading the group. Sakura, having enough of the silence, asked Zuna a question. Zuna saying, if you are hiring Konoha shinobi, does that mean your country doesn't have a hidden village? Sakura asked with curiousness. That's right, we don't have any shinobi in our country. Though there are other closer countries like Konokuni that have a hidden village, but they're having a civil war, so they're not taking anyone in. Zuna explained. Kiri Nuni, Naruko asked, never having heard of the place. Baka, didn't you pay attention in class? Sakura asked, wondering why Naruko doesn't know about other countries. Well, Sakura, you obviously didn't notice that I was never in class besides Aruka-sensei's class. Naruko answered. Sakura, why you do that? That's just wasting money and pretty stupid, seeing how it's coming back to bite. You know, Sakura responded. Well, because of a certain you-know-what, the only teacher that allowed me in class was Aruka-sensei. The rest kicked me out and forbid me to enter. When they discovered I could still hear them from outside, they started closing the door and doing something so I couldn't hear anything from inside the class. So sorry for not knowing what the world consists of, Naruko said softly and sadly. Sakura, not realizing, her eyes widened. Naruko, sorry, I didn't know. I'm really sorry. Sakura apologized sadly, regretting what she said. Thanks, Sakura, but it's fine. I got over it ages ago. Naruko thanked softly. Kakashi, on the other hand, was pissed. When they got back, he was going to have a word with a Hokage and a few teachers. Well, allow me to explain. Sakura offered, trying to cheer Naruko up. Before she could continue, she was interrupted by a bang. Looking to the location of the noise, all she saw was dust in Naruko's hand in the ground in front of the smoke. This got everyone on alert. Naruko, what was that for? Sakura asked, not sure what was going on while pulling out her kunai. We had company, Naruko said quickly. When the dust cleared, everyone saw a 2 m wide fissure that stretched for 30 meters where Naruko had punch. Hearing a scream of pain to the left, all eyes turned to it. When Sakura saw what made the noise, she buckled over and lost her lunch and breakfast, while Sasaki almost lost his. Hard way to go, Kakashi thought. To the left of everyone at the base of a tree was a ninja with no right arm and blood pouring out his shoulder. His screams continued for a few seconds before they stopped along with his twitching. Naruko heard his erratic heartbeat come to a stop. To the right, a groan could be heard. The second ninja that looked like the first was also at the base of a tree, but had all of his limbs intact. But at the end of his right hand was the other ninja's arms still attached to the chain that linked them together. Looking up to the sky and holding his right shoulder, he groaned again in pain. Gee, what the just happened? He asked. 1 minute they were waiting for the group to pass to ambush them. Then the next he was at the bottom of a tree with his right shoulder in agony. I happened, Naruko said coldly, pinning the guy to the tree with her tails. One pressing on his right shoulder, increasing the pain and pressure, another around his neck loose enough so he could half breath, the rest waving about behind her. Ah! You get off me! The injured ninja shouted in pain. How did you know it was us? He asked. This isn't how this works. But this time, I will be happy to indulge your final request, Naruko said coldly. First, it hasn't rained in a week, so there is no way there could be a puddle out in this heat. Second, you two have alcohol, blood, and a few other things I don't recognize. Naruko answered of how she knew the two ninjas were there. Now, who are you? Who sent you? And who is your target? Naruko asked with a sweet smile that put shivers into everyone's spines. We are the Demon Brothers, Go, and my brother there is Mizu. We were sent by Zabuza and Nikki. That old guy is the target, Go said. Thank you for your kind cooperation, Naruko said sweetly before using one of her tails to hit him across the face, knocking him out. Kakashi, must I deal with this or will you? Naruko asked. Well done, Naruko. You successfully located and dealt with the enemy. That on its own is a good job, but extracting information, that's very well done. Kakashi praised Naruko, who blushed and rubbed the back of her head. You deserve a bit of a rest. I will deal with the rest, Kakashi said, walking to the ninja by Naruko with the one-armed ninja on his shoulder. When we get back, we are going to have a chat, Kakashi said, looking towards Zuna while walking into the woods with the two ninja in tow. Few minutes later, when Kakashi returned, he threw 2 scrolls at Naruko. Naruko looking confused. Kakashi explained. If you turn those in, I'm sure you will get a nifty amount from their bounties. Kakashi told Naruko. Now to Zuna, your mission stated to protect you from bandits, not ninjas. If ninjas have been hired to kill you, then this would be an A- rank mission at least. So my question is, why did you withhold this information? And why would someone like Zabuza be after you? Kakashi asked sternly. To Zuna aside, our country is poor and we can't afford anything higher than a C rank mission. As to why this Zabuza guy is after Mai is no doubt because God hired him. God, the founder of God Company, why would he be after you? Kakashi asked. That company of his is just a front. He is a criminal lord that took over our country a few years back. Ever since he took over, he has been driving our country into the ground. To counter this, we started to building a bridge to connect our island to the mainland, as he controls all the sea trading ports and industries. As I am the lead builder and planner for the bridge, he is out to get me for fear of losing his control over us. If you want to cancel the mission, that's fine, but I will be killed. My country will lose everything. My daughter will weep for ages while my grandson will hate Konoha, Zuna said, trying to guilt trip them. Group of ninjas, of course Sakura bought this. While Naruko being Naruko can't not stand not helping people out. Kakashi, we will continue the mission. We can't abandon this mission now. We can handle it, and if anything happens you are here. Naruko said, earning a nod from Sakura and a smirk from Sasaki, who was up for the challenge. It's 4 against 1. Looks like we are continuing the mission. No unnecessary talking and keep your eyes peeled. Got that? Kakashi said sternly, being outnumbered here. 2 hours later. The group had been walking for half an hour since they got off the boat they used to reach the island. Naruko, being on extra high alert, smelled some blood and a noise to her left. Reacting quickly, she threw a kanai. Everyone turning to where the kanai traveled, they all saw a bunny that was shaking in fear, too scared to run away with the kanai. A few hair whiskers above its head lodged into the base of a tree. Naruko, don't do that. And what did I say about hunting when I near you? Sakura said angrily to Naruko. I smelled blood and heard something, so I acted. Naruko shot back. Both Sasaki and Kakashi noticed the color of the fur and the rabbit. It's summer. Its fur should be brown. They only get white fur when they're caged or it's cold. Kakashi thought before he could continue his train of thought. He shouted while pulling Tuna down. Get down. Sasaki did as told, hearing the tone used while Naruko had to pull Sakura down, who didn't react. Thud. Everyone looking up saw a giant sword lodged into the tree with a man standing on the handle with his back facing them. The man had black hair and eyes. He had a bandage that wrapped around his head covering his mouth and nose. He was wearing a black tank top and black long pant with black shinobi sandals. He also had gray stripped fingerless gloves that also covered his entire forearm. Everyone could see him smirk through that makeshift bandage mask. No wonder the demon brothers didn't come back. They didn't stand a chance against the great copy ninja Kakashi no Sharing. The man laughed. Mimiki Zabuza, a new Kennen from Kuriaka Noto, also known as Kuriaka no Kijin. Kakashi said, recognizing the new Kennen. Ho, so I am even known in Konoha. Zabuza smirked. It may be true the demon brothers didn't stand a chance against me, but I'm not the one who dealt with them. Blondie here did that by herself. And let's just say that it was some explosive performance, Kakashi stated, making Naruko blush for a few seconds. You guys stay out of this. This is way above your league. Protect Zuna, Kakashi ordered while pulling up his headband, revealing his left eye, and the trio ninja made a triangle in front of Zuna. Sasaki looked into Kakashi's eye and was shocked to see what he saw. Sharing. But Kakashi isn't part of the Uchiha clan, so how does he have that eye? Sasaki wondered. Kakashi's left eye was red with a black circular line going around completely in the middle of his iris with 3 black dots spaced evenly on the line. Kurama growled deeply at this eye, making Naruko curious. Kurama shook his head, showing that he won't say why. Ho, revealing the sharing already. I'm honored. I shall try not to disappoint you, Kakashi. Zabuza said while landing on the ground. Sharing Naruko and Sakura said at the same time a dojutsu unique to the Uchiha clan that allows the wielder of it to copy any tai nin and genjutsu. Sasaki explained his clan's unique trait. Zabuza pulled out his sword from the tree and jumped back, standing near the river's edge that was close by. Zabuza's sword was a single-edged sword a bit smaller than Zabuza in length and is about a foot wide, about 12 to 14 in width. Near the handle on the edge side of the sword was a half-circle hole cut out just a bit wider than the average width of a person's head. The tip of the sword was curved sharply, and just a bit further down was a full circle cut out in the center of the sword. The handle of the sword was about 16 to 17 in long with no guard or pommel on it. Putting the sword on his back, Zabuza with his right hand made a half-Tora hand seal while his left fully extended above his head, making another half-Tora hand seal. No Kuraja no Jutsu, Zabuza called out, which brought in a heavy thick mist in which made Zabuza disappeared. Speaking so that it sounded like he was all around them. Zabuza released his bloodlust to intimidate his opponents. Spine, kidney, liver, stomach, heart, lungs, and throat. Zabuza called out. Ha! Sakura asked, confused about the naming of body parts. 7 virtual points on the body which lead to near instantaneous death if hit. Which do you choose first? Zabuza laughed. Sakura nearly suffocated from the amount of bloodlust coming from Zabuza while Sasaki was shaking with fear. His kanai rattling. He thought of how to get out of this while Naruko was unnerved and Kakashi brushed it off. What's with this bloodlust? It's like I want to kill myself to escape. Sasaki thought. Sasaki, calm down. I'm here and I won't let anyone on my team die even if it kills me. That's a promise. Kakashi reassured Sasaki. Ha 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 ha, and I thought I was evil, and here you're giving a kid false hope. You will have to break that promise, Kakashi. Zabuza laughed, suddenly realizing where Zabuza was going to appear. Kakashi turned just in time to see Zabuza appear in the middle of Naruko, Sasaki, Sakura and Zuna. Kakashi with great speed appeared behind Zuna. Zabuza dissipated into water. Mizu Bunchan asked Kakashi, turning to where Zabuza was. Supposed to be another Zabuza appeared behind Kakashi and took a swipe with his sword and connected with Kakashi. Kakashi split in half and turned to water. What, you copied it in this? Zabuza asked, surprised that Kakashi managed to copy his Enjutsu in this mist. Kakashi appeared behind Zabuza with a kanai in his right hand at Zabuza's neck. It's over, Zabuza, Kakashi declared. I see you already copied the Mizu Bunchan no Jutsu when you reassured your team. Zabuza said, realizing that Kakashi had already copied it. Then once Zabuza finished speaking, he melted, surprising Kakashi. Kakashi sensed Zabuza behind him and saw him swing his sword in a downward arc towards him. Zabuza cursed when Kakashi jumped back to avoid the attack. With the sword now lodged into the ground, Zabuza continued his momentum and swung around the sword like a pole dancer. Using both his feet, Zabuza kicked Kakashi in his chest, sending him flying, skipping across the water's surface before sinking into the river. Swimming back to shore, Kakashi had a hard time surfacing, but did eventually have most of his body on land. This water is heavier than normal, Kakashi commented. Appearing next to Kakashi while doing some hand seals, Zabuza smirked. Baka, Sweden, Shiro Nojutsu, Zabuza called out. Kakashi was now trapped in a sphere of water a few inches above the ground with Zabuza's right hand inside the sphere to keep it active. Now that Kakashi was Kodabuza led up the mist he summoned earlier. Kakashi-sensei Naruko called out while the three ninjas got ready to charge. So the BRZ want to play. Let's play, Zabuza said with a grin as a copy of him appeared between the original and the ninja trio. Don't engage. A Mizu Bunkan can't go far from its creator. Take Zuna and run. This was over the moment I got caught. Kakashi shouted from in his water prison. Kakashi's right. It was over the moment he got caught. But what makes him think we can run away? Sasaki thought, greeting his teeth. Sasaki, put your hand on my shoulder. I've got a plan, Naruko said quietly. As Sasaki put his left hand on her shoulder, Naruko made a dozen clones and immediately dispelling 10 of them, covering the area around them in smoke. The original shape shifted into a Fuma Shuriken, while one clone shapeshifted into an eagle and shot to the sky to hover above Zabuza, while the last clone took the original's position in front of Sasaki. When the smoke cleared, the Naruko clone with a shout charged. The Zabuza clone shortly followed by Sasaki jumping up and preparing to throw the Fuma Shuriken. The Zabuza clone smirked and got into a stance. It doesn't matter how many of you attack, it won't change a thing, the Zabuza clone mocked. We'll see about now, Sasaki, Naruko called out while throwing a punch. The Zabuza clone easily dodged the punch while watching Sasaki throw the oversized Shuriken. Sasaki threw the Shuriken in a wide arc, letting it sail past the Zabuza clone. Smart. Attack the original, but that thing won't do anything, the original Zabuza said while catching the Shuriken with his left hand. What, another one was in its shadow? Zabuza asked, seeing a second one flying towards him. As Zabuza was talking, the Naruko clone dispelled the Zabuza clone before dispelling herself, surprising Zabuza yet again. Cage Bunkan, where is the brat now? Zabuza wondered, seeing Naruko dissipate into smoke. Zabuza jumped over the second Fuma Shuriken with a smirk on his face. Not bad, but still too easy. Zabuza mocked. Poof. Turning to the sudden sound behind him, Zabuza saw Naruko throwing a kunai aimed at his face. What? She turned herself into the Shuriken. Ta surprised Zabuza, removing his right hand from the water prison, breaking the jutsu. Zabuza moved to his left to dodge the kunai. Sensing something above, Zabuza looked up to see another Naruko doing somersaults. The Naruko somersaulting down to Zabuza stopped so she could extend for right foot, preparing to axe kick Zabuza. What? Where the hell this one come from? Zabuza thought, confused, not sensing her earlier while reaching for his sword with his right hand on his back after dropping the Fuma Shuriken in his left hand. Bringing the sword above him to block the kick with both hands on either side of the sword, Zabuza got a bit worried as he was still in the air in a crouch position. Suddenly seeing the kunai pass him, Zabuza saw it twist and contort, changing into another Naruko. The Naruko above Zabuza connected with the flat side of the sword. Her momentum and strength pushed Zabuza down, creating a small crater when he hit the ground. Zabuza grunted from the force of the kick, making him wonder just how strong the brat actually is. A few seconds after landing, Zabuza felt his feet get swiped from under him, making him fall backwards. Looking to see the cause, Zabuza saw another Naruko, where Afuma Shuriken should have been in a crouched position, moving in an anti-clockwise spin with her left foot extended. Zabuza felt a strong kick to his stomach, courtesy of the Naruko that sailed past him earlier as a kunai. Zabuza was sent flying to the Naruko that sent the kunai. When Zabuza arrived next to her, Naruko did a front flip in the air and brought an axe kick down on Zabuza's chest, sending him to the bottom of the river. All the Naruko dispelled, leaving smoke expect for the Naruko next to Kakashi that swept Zabuza's feet. Naruko reached her hand out to Kakashi. Taking hold of her hand, Kakashi was pulled up onto his feet. Sasaki was wide-eyed. He was expecting the second Fuma Shuriken to be Naruko, not the first one as well, let alone the Kanai Naruko through. Sakura was extremely confused. She was lost after the second Fuma Shuriken appeared. Zuna just stood there with his jaw on the ground. Naruko, that was something else. Kakashi praised Naruko, amazed at the stunt she just pulled. See, Kakashi, I told you we could handle it. Naruko said with a grin and holding out a peace sign to Kakashi. Everyone turned to the bubbles appearing from the river. Shortly afterwards, Zabuza pulled himself up and onto the water while coughing up water and blood. Slowing standing up his left hand, holding his stomach and his sword in his right, Zabuza glared at Naruko. Just what the hell is that kid? She packs some serious strength, not to mention that weird changing abilities of hers, Zabuza thought analyzing her. Gah, Zabuza grunted in pain. She has definitely broken a few ribs, he thought in pain. Not bad, brat, but you are going to have to do better than that, Zabuza said while walking on the surface of the water. Arriving on land, Zabuza prepared to charge only to receive two sunbonds in his neck, making him collapse forward. Everyone surprised at what just happened. Kakashi walked to Zabuza to check his pulse. Kneeling down, Kakashi brought his hand to Zabuza's neck and failed to feel any pulse. He's dead. But who? Kakashi was cut off by the arrival of a ninja with an ambu mask on kneeling next to Zabuza and lifting him up with an arm around their shoulder. Thank you, Shinobi-san. I have been hunting this new Kennen for some time. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you, said the masked shinobi. No problem. You're a Kuraja and by Kakashi asked standing up. Hi. I will take my leave then. Once again, I thank you, the ninja said before disappearing with Zabuza in a swirl of leaves. That kid looks like he isn't that much older than 13. So young and forced to do that, Kakashi thought with a sigh. Oi Kakashi, what the hell was that? Naruko asked, confused at what's going on. That was a butai from Kuriak Nosado. Their mission is to hunt and kill Nukanen from their village. Kakashi answered. I don't get it. Naruko said still confused. Don't worry about it for now. I'll explain everything when we get to Zuna's house. Kakashi said wanting to get moving. Naruko just nodded back. Tuna-san, how far is your house from here? Kakashi asked. It's not far. About an hour's walking from here, Zuna replied, earning a nod from Kakashi. Right. Let's move out. It's getting dark, so we will have to double time it. Kakashi ordered getting everyone to move out. Thud. Naruko. Sakura shouted seeing Naruko fall face first. Kakashi turning to see what the noise is about and saw Naruko lying on the floor with Sakura kneeling next to her. Kakashi-sensei. Naruko just passed out. Sakura said in a slightly panicking voice. I'll carry her. We will investigate when we get to Zuna's house. Kakashi said picking up Naruko. And so the group rushed to Zuna's house hoping that nothing bad has happened with Naruko. So guys, what do you think about this Naruto story? Tell me your opinion in the comments. And if you want more Naruto what if stories, make sure to subscribe to Universe of Naruto. Thanks for